7 minutes, 15 seconds.
If you have any problems, please call the emergency number we have given you and ask to speak to somebody from WRPI.
7 minutes to go.
It's literally a thing. It looks hard. So, which thank God.
6 minutes, 45 seconds.
He's already 100% better now than he was on Wednesday. On Wednesday, he looked like he was
6 minutes, 30 seconds.
At this time, you should minimize microphone use, not broadcast any questionable material, and ramp the delay to 0. Sports broadcasts are done without the delay.
6 minutes, 15 seconds. 6 minutes to go. Five minutes, 45 seconds.
Once the countdown stops, the theme music will begin. You should immediately pot up this theme music and put it on the air. We will assume we are on the air shortly after the music starts.
5 minutes, 30 seconds.
Be right back.
5 minutes, 15 seconds. 5 minutes to go.
At this time, you should minimize microphone use, not broadcast any questionable material, and ramp the delay to 0. Sports broadcasts are done without the delay.
4 minutes, 45 seconds. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. 4 minutes, 15 seconds.
Once the countdown stops, the theme music will begin. You should immediately pot up this theme music and put it on the air. We will assume we are on the air shortly after the music starts.
4 minutes to go.
Every time I go by Treehouse,
3 minutes, 45 seconds.
We will announce the IDs live. Please listen for them at the top of the hour and record them in the logs.
3 minutes, 30 seconds. 3 minutes, 15 seconds.
If you have any problems, please call the emergency number we have given you and ask to speak to somebody from WRPI.
3 minutes to go.
At this time, you should minimize microphone use, not broadcast any questionable material, and ramp the delay to 0. Sports broadcasts are done without the delay.
2 minutes, 45 seconds. 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Once the countdown stops, the theme music will begin. You should immediately pot up this theme music and put it on the air. We will assume we are on the air shortly after the music starts.
2 minutes, 15 seconds.
You have to learn how to multitask. You have to learn how to play the game and talk to somebody. That's a good task to learn how to do. Can you do that?
Two minutes to go.
We will announce the IDs live. Please listen for them at the top of the hour and record them in the log.
1 minute, 45 seconds.
Watch the football broadcast. Try to watch it. We're always on the game.
1 minute, 30 seconds.
If you have any problems, please call the emergency number we have given you and ask to speak to somebody from WRPI.
1 minute, 15 seconds.
At this time, you should minimize microphone use, not broadcast any questionable material, and ramp the delay to 0. Sports broadcasts are done without the delay.
1 minute to go. 55 seconds.
That's it, right?
50 seconds. 45 seconds. 40 seconds. 35 seconds. 30 seconds. 25 seconds. 20 seconds. 15 seconds.
That's what we're going to do in the summer because the hotel stay at the we juiced it. No. Oh, cages are about.
I'm gonna just tell them to sit here for now. But if you walk down this one, when you come in this room.
Fans, at this time, we'd like to introduce the offensive and defensive starters for the visiting Rochester Yellow Jackets. Here's how they'll line up on offense. At wide receiver, number 1, Jeremy Tantello. Also at wide receiver, number 4, Aiden Papantonis. At left tackle, number 66, Graham Matthew. At left guard, number 68, Ben Tripoli. The center is number 64, Aiden Francis. At right guard, it's number 63, Jack Schlitt. The right tackle is number 70, Matt Summer. At tight end, number 83, Jackson Kane. Another wide receiver, number 10, Andy Talone. At running back, number 2, Cole Rao. And the quarterback, number 16, Victor Moran. The Yellow Jackets' defense is as follows. At defensive end, number 52, Claudio Pinto. At defensive tackle, number 93, Victor Little. Also at defensive tackle, number 91, A.J. Bixler. A defensive end, number 0, Reese Lewis. The linebacking core, number 7, Jack Diggins, number 51, Nathan Lehigh, and number 12, Luke Herter. The secondary, at cornerback, number 23, Judah Thomas. The free safety is number 2, Braden Felsinger. Strong safety, number 36, Brock Miller. And at cornerback, number 29, Jordy Tawa. Rochester is coached by Chad Martinovich. Your officials for today's game. Referee is Calvin Brown. Umpire Justin Brannick. Head linesman Kevin Thompson. Line judge Joseph Glasser. Side judge George Borey. At field judge is Drew Marriott. And the back judge is Leon Matthews. And now it's time to introduce the starting defense for your RPI Engineers. At defensive end, number 66, Ethan Johnson. At defensive tackle, number 94, Owen Boland. At defensive tackle, number 58, Patrick O'Keefe. Defensive end, number 95, Thomas Mackell. At linebacker, number 14, Matt Krause. Also at linebacker, number 11, Miles Lafferty. And a linebacker, number 24, Tristan Conforta. Cornerback, number 5, Cassius Johnson. Defensive back, number 3, Luke Lavello. Defensive back, number 2, Aiden Beckenhuis. And at cornerback, number 15, Thomas Mulvaney. The Engineers are led by head coach Ralph I. Cernia.
Folks, could we get by? Oh, let's stay here, because somebody's in our seat. Absolutely. We 30 and 31. Yeah, that's the first two seats. So, a gentleman said, man, all right. Would make it a shorter field goal for them. So we wanted to push them back. If we were getting the ball back, there was not going to be a lot of time left on the clock anyway. But we decided to push them back and try to negate any field goal opportunity that they were going to have because they had a good kicker, and I was surprised that they didn't try to kick for points there at the end. But the whole idea was to push them out of field goal range.
And then the next question, in overtime, were you surprised they went for it on fourth down?
Well, I think that was a byproduct of what they did at the end of the game. I'm not sure if they didn't have any faith in the kicker or they were feeling that, hey, we converted everything in the first half on the short yardage and just thought, hey, we're just gonna get the 3 or 4 yards, whatever was needed for the first down. We got 2 downs to get it. So like I said earlier, it was about keeping the pressure on. They had I think it was a swing pass in a bubble that they were trying to throw, just were not able to complete it. They would have been kicking with the wind with their field goal kicker. So I was actually happy that they went for it on fourth down and weren't able to get it.
Okay, and then the final question about overtime. When the other team doesn't score...
Welcome to the East Campus Athletic Village and the East Campus Stadium for today's Liberty League football matchup, featuring the Yellow Jackets of the University of Rochester and your RPI Engineers. Please direct your attention to the 50-yard line and welcome the captains from Rochester, as well as your captains from Rensselaer, Anthony DiMatteo and Miles Lafferty.
Good morning, gentlemen. I have a coin here so everybody can see. This is heads. This is tails. Rochester, you're the visiting team. What's your call?
Tails.
The call is tails. It is heads.
Take the ball.
RPI won a toss, elected to receive.
RPI wins the coin toss and will get the football to start today's game. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor and respect our country and the men and women who have served and continue to serve America, we ask, if you are able, please stand and remove your caps for the playing of the national anthem of the United States of America by the RPI Pep Band.
Before we get started with today's game, we'd like to thank the Rensselaer Union. They provide the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, and that includes WRPI and WRPI's coverage of engineer football, hockey, and baseball. Also, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org. You can pick up our broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As long as we're sending something out over the air, we'll provide it for you on the feed. It's WRPI.org. And a reminder, this is WRPI Troy with engineer football from the East Campus Stadium. RPI versus Rochester. Kirk Sutton and Yancey Roy on the call for you today.
You know, let's introduce Rochester a little bit to the home fans here. Rochester has been a program that has really good. A couple of decades ago, they've had some down times in the last decade. RPI had defeated them 8 straight times until last year when the Rochester Yellow Jackets reversed that. And they seem to be on the upswing this year. They started out 3-0, Kurt. Wins over Olivet, SUNY, Morrisville. And then a regional rival who's usually a pretty tough football squad, St. John Fisher, last week 28-21. Coming from behind in the fourth quarter, they scored a touchdown and a 2-point conversion with less than 3 minutes left. The game went down to the last drive, and Rochester was able to break up a 4th down pass in the end zone and hold on to that 28-21 win over St. John Fisher. So the Yellow Jackets coming in with a lot of momentum here in Troy.
Getting ready to kick off here. RPI won the coin toss. They deferred their selection to the second. Did they? No, RPI accepted. RPI did win the toss. They accepted. This is why you don't assume things. You pay attention. RPI accepted. They'll get the ball first. Okay, so we've got a kickoff. Brainerd kicks it off for RPI, and it's going to be taken by Johnson at the 5-yard line. 15 to the 20, 25 straight ahead, and he's down about the 28.
No wind to speak of here this afternoon as we get underway here at noon in Troy. On your radio dial, the engineers will be going from your right to your left. They're in their home uniforms. That means red jerseys with black numbers, which are hard to see sometimes for radio guys. They have the black pants, and they have the black helmets with the red RPI across the side.
RPI 1st and 10 at their own 27. Just underway, no score here in Troy. We'll have 2 wideouts on the left, 1 on the right. You got a tight end on the left. They don't fake the handoff to White. Pass, that's complete to Nicholson, and Nicholson's going to get out to the 29-yard line, so it's a pickup of maybe 2 out to the 29.
Just something to sort of get you started in the positive direction. Didn't really fool Rochester that well. The defensive backs had that pretty well covered. Rochester, by the way, in their road all whites, white uniforms, navy blue numbers, navy blue helmets with yellow with jackets written in yellow across the side of the helmet.
Second down and 8 for RPI. This will be a pitch. Goes to White. White goes to the right. Escapes one man. And then he's tripped up as he got near the 30-yard line. I think it was Daniel Santos. Yeah, Santos on the tackle for Rochester. Stops him after a gain of 1. And RPI is looking at a 3rd and 7.
Caden White is the guy who goes, most of the offense goes through him. He's their leading rusher. He's their leading touchdown maker on the year. The Engineers have 9 touchdowns on the year. Get this, Caden White has 8 of them.
This will be a 3rd down and 7. Ball at the 30-yard line for RPI. Just underway. 4 wide out formation. White in the backfield. And DiMatteo is going to look downfield. Doesn't see anything. He's going to start to run with the ball. He's to the 35. He's to the 40. Slides, and that's a 1st down for RPI at the 41.
Boy, nice decision for the quarterback there, DiMatteo. Everybody was covered. They had receivers running deep on the left and the right, but they're totally blanketed by the Rochester defense. And good for DiMatteo. He recognized that early and didn't stay too long in the pocket, saw that opening in the middle, and was able to pick up a 1st down.
Actually, they're going to say the slide started at the 39, so he loses 2 yards. Still a 1st down for RPI. They needed to make it to the 37. 13-10 to go, 1st quarter, no score. Handoff goes to White. White doesn't see anything right away, kind of stutter steps. Now he's going to move forward straight up the middle, and White's out to the 40, almost to the 48, call it the 47.
As you mentioned, nice delay there by Caden White. When he first got the ball, nothing was open, but all of a sudden, that area just to the right of center, between the right guard and the center, opened up for a nice gain.
2nd down and about 1. Officially, they'll call it on the scoreboard. Fake the handoff to White. Throw, and that is complete for the Engineers. Down to the 30, to the 20, 15, 10, 5, and near the end zone, he's in for the touchdown. That is Dalton Grant on the touchdown for RPI, and RPI leads 6-0.
Well, that was a quick-hitting play, and how did it develop? How did he get so wide open? Well, Grant was lined up on the far right. He ran about, 10 yards down, and just did a quick slant across the middle. But it was enough of a fake to lose the Rochester defender, who, by the time the ball and the pass arrived, the Rochester defender was 2 steps behind, and then it was just a foot race to the left corner, the near corner, and Grant outran everybody for a quick touchdown here in the 1st quarter.
DiMatteo on the hold for the extra point. Merrick's kick is up and good. 12:38 to go, 1st quarter of play. RPI strikes first. They've got a 7-0 lead.
Well, in the pregame, Kurt, we talked about RPI's offense, and Coach Isernia talked about that in the pregame interview with you. At times they've had trouble getting untracked. At times they've had trouble getting things going with mixing up the pass and the run like they usually like to do. They don't have a sort of a deep bomb passing game. They're not usually going to throw these 40-yard bombs. They're going to try to get these quick hit passes and get some yards after catch. That's kind of been a signature for them in the first 3 games. And look, lo and behold, it happens on the first drive. DiMatteo made a terrific move to lose the defender in the middle of the field. Rather, Grant did. DiMatteo spotted him. Perfect pass, and there was just one man to beat to the left corner, and Grant won that foot race, and the Engineers are up 7-0 just 3 minutes and 12 seconds into this ball game.
Merrick is out to, nope, that's Gray. Gray is going to kick off for RPI. Boots it downfield. Taken inside the 5-yard line by Genovese, and he's going to get tripped up around the 15. Gets forward to the 18, and that's where Rochester's going to start out. So Genovese on the return for Rochester to the 18-yard line.
Well, the Yellow Jackets on the field offensively for the first time today. What to look for? Well, they like to mix the pass and run. They actually run the ball quite a bit compared to other teams in the league. Look at their total offense, 593 yards rushing and 383 passing. So they are run heavy, and the guys they're going to like to go to are Cole Rue, a halfback, and also Jack Adelman. So watch out for those guys.
That was a 53-yard touchdown reception for Grant to put RPI up 7-0. That's where they are. Rochester first play from scrimmage. And this will be a pass in the flat. Pep Antonis has it, and he's going to be down at about the 23-yard line. Victor Moran is the starting quarterback for Rochester. He threw the ball.
Yeah, a fake handoff to Rue, which kind of isolated the middle of the line for RPI, and just a nice little swing out pass to the right side, the near side. for a short gain just to get the Yellow Jackets underway.
2nd down and 5 for the Yellow Jackets. Rue is behind. He's going to take the handoff. He's going to go right, tries to turn this one upfield, hits the RPI defense, and picks up about a yard to the 24, setting up a 3rd down and 4.
So Rue, number 2, the running back, and as you mentioned, Aiden Papantonis, wide receiver number 4. You're going to hear those names a lot. For example, Rue, he's carried the ball 55 times, which is just about half of the Yellow Jackets running plays. And Papantonis, by far their leading receiver, he's caught 15 passes out of 37 total receptions. So those are their go-to guys offensively.
4 wide out formation for Rochester on 3rd down and 4. 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Running back is behind the quarterback, Moran. Moran takes a snap, looking to his right, tries to run at the ball. He's going to hit the RPI defense. That's it. He's not going to get anywhere. He's going to lose a couple of yards. It was Corfanta for RPI, the final man who got a hold of him. He was the 3rd one. He was the one to make sure he wasn't getting anywhere. And Rochester's going to look at a 3 and out here.
A nice rush there by the RPI. I mean, basically the whole line collapsed on Moran, and he didn't even have time to really look for receivers before he was just scrambling for dear life.
So Brainerd, who does the kicking, is also listed as the punter, and he gets the ball away. A lot of pressure there. Bounces right at the RPI 45-yard line. Swanger was not going to return this. He's going to let it be down, and it'll be down right between the 38 and 39. They'll put it at the 39-yard line for RPI on the Engineer side of the field. 10:36 left to go here in the first quarter. 7-0 RPI leads.
Well, you couldn't have a better start for RPI today, Kurt. First drive, they moved the ball down in 3 minutes, get a long touchdown pass from DiMatteo to Grant. They're up 7-0, and the defense comes out strong. Didn't allow the Rochester Yellow Jackets anything, forced a 3 and out punt.
1st and 10 RPI at their own 39 with the 7-0 lead. And RPI is going on the ground. White's going to go left. 40, and he's caught from behind at about the 42-yard line by Luke Herder on defense for Rochester. RPI's offense, the line up front, Nicholas Cirilli, Ryan Shaner, JT Morello, Henry Frayne, and Eamon Centrella. The tight end is Josh Young. The wide receivers are Paisley Nicholson, Nate Ihui, and Gage Swanger. Running back is Caden White, and the quarterback is Anthony DiMatteo. It'll be a 2nd down and 7 at the 42-yard line for RPI. DiMatteo drops back, looks to throw. He's going to toss one downfield. He's got a man, yes, at the 20-yard line. 15 down to the 10 is Peterson on the reception. So it'll be 1st and goal RPI if they put that down at the 10. Peterson with a big gainer, and RPI is looking to make this a 2-score game.
Wow, I mean, almost a carbon copy of the last touchdown play, but just on the other side of the field. Peterson was lined up left, went about 8 or 10 yards down, made a quick cut to his right, and his fast move just lost the defender in no time. He's running down the middle of the field with the defender 3 yards behind him.
Pass in the flat, complete to White. He's on the left, gets to the 10-yard line, and he'll get stopped at the 10-yard line by Brendan McDonald. So no gainer there for RPI. 9:20 to go here, first quarter. 7-0 RPI on top, looking at a 2nd and goal from the 10.
Robbie Peterson, there's a sophomore, 6'1", 175 out of Carver, Massachusetts. He came in to this ball game. I think that's his first reception, Kurt. According to the updated stats here that we have from the Engineers, he's been in 3 games but had not made a catch yet. So big, huge play by the sophomore to make his sort of debut here.
2nd down, and a handoff to White. Doesn't see anything up the middle. Now he's going to go right, and he's stopped at the 5-yard line.
Well, that was another good read by Caden White of seeing where the traffic was in the middle of the field and where the opening might be, because he started to take that right up to the middle, slightly left of center. There was nothing there. He just paused for a moment, sidestepped to the right, and got to the 5. That was about as smart of a 5-yard run as you'll see.
3rd down and 5 RPI. They'll spread it out. 2 wide receivers each side. White's next to DiMatteo in the backfield. As it's 3rd and goal from the 5, I should specify. And fake the handoff to White, throw in the end zone, that's complete for the touchdown. Josh Young has the TD for RPI. Engineers lead 13-0.
Almost the same pattern that they worked to perfection all through this early first quarter. Young is lined up on the left side in the slot. at the 5. He runs straight forward to the end zone and just slants towards the goalpost. And again, the cut is to his right is so fast and so just agile that he lost his defender and he had a step and he was behind everybody all alone at the back of the end zone.
Merrick on to try the extra point to make this a 14-0 game. The kick is up. The kick is good. So it is 14-0 RPI, 8:04 to go here in the first quarter.
Well, can't probably overstate it. What a tremendous opening quarter here for the RPI Engineers. You're talking about a team that through its first 3 games has at times kind of struggled to find its groove on offense, and 2 touchdowns and lickety-split on quick drives. Passing game is working. The receivers are getting open with quick moves, losing the defenders, and Caden White on the run is doing a good job of mixing it up and keeping the interior of the Rochester line honest and not falling back just to cover the pass.
RPI has 27 rushing yards right now. They had 32 last week against Brockport, and 15 of those were the winning touchdown. So Hayden Gray out to kick off for RPI. Genovese, and there should be Thomas back deep. I don't see Thomas. We have Thomas is over there, but it's going to go to Genovese at the 10-yard line. To the 15, to the 20, finds a hole, 25, 30, knocked down as he gets near the 35-yard line. So a good return by Genovese, and Rochester has the ball for the second time today.
First time they had it, it was 3 quick plays and a punt, so we'll see how they do this time. Again, to talk a little bit about their offense, quarterback is Victor Moran. He's a veteran back there, but you might also see the backup of freshman Bellinger. They rely a lot on 2 players to handle the ball. Cole Rue, number 2, the chief running back, and Aiden Pap Antonis, number 4, the slot receiver, who has almost half of their receptions this year. So now they've got good position, 38-yard line, going left to right on your radio dial here.
They'll put Papantonis in motion, and the handoff goes to, that is Rue. That is Rue on the handoff, and he's going to go straight ahead to about the 41-yard line. Let's give you that full Rochester offense. Graham Matthew, Benjamin Tripoli, Aiden Francis, Jack Schlitt, don't say that quickly, and Matt Summer are the line up front. Jackson Kane is the tight end. Jeremy Tantello, Aiden Papantonis, Andy Talone are the wide receivers. Cole Rue is the running back, and Victor Moran is the quarterback. That's the Rochester offense. 2nd down and 7 for Rochester at their own 41-yard line, trailing 14-0 here with 7:20 to go in the first quarter. They'll send Talone in motion. Pass, and that's going to be incomplete. They were looking for Papantonis inside the 50-yard line, but just overthrew him a little bit too much, did Moran, and it'll be a 3rd down and long for Rochester.
Yeah, I believe it was Cassius Johnson, the quarterback, that was on the cover for the Engineers. He had fairly good coverage for Papantonis, but Papantonis is really speedy. You can see that already. He took off from the snap and had about a half a step on Johnson, and the pass was just led a little too far. He couldn't reach it with his fingertips.
3rd down and 7 for Rochester. Down 2 scores. This is only their 6th play from scrimmage. Just beyond halfway in this first quarter. Moran stands in the pocket, throws, and that is overthrown along the sidelines. Papantonis was the intended receiver, and it's incomplete, and Rochester sending out the punt team.
Well, that is a forced pass sort of by the RPI rush, because Papantonis had just ran an out route and was pretty wide open, but the throw was rushed and over his head. And I want to cite a couple of guys who were out there. Silent Terrelange was one of the defenders, putting a lot of heat on the quarterback that forced him to get out of that play really quickly. Also, O'Keefe, number 58, was back there.
Brainerd takes the high snap, gets the kick away. This doesn't look so good, and it's going to take a Rochester bounce and then go out inside the 30. They'll have it out at the 28 on RPI side of the field. Didn't come off the foot looking good, but it looked better with the bounce. 7:05 to go here. First quarter in Troy. RPI 14, Rochester nothing.
2 drives, 2 touchdowns for the Engineers. Just marched down the field. Rochester not able to stop them at all. And the quick slant pass is what's working for the Engineers, and DiMatteo right now. He's finding receivers open, whether it's Young or Peterson. for touchdowns so far here, or rather Grant here in the first half.
First down, RPI on the ground. White sees nothing up front, goes to the right, and this time he's going to get caught from behind, and this will be a loss of 1 for RPI.
It's probably the first play on the RPI offense where the line didn't get any forward push at all. Caden White had nowhere to go. Tried to bounce it out to the right.
Rochester defense up front. Claudio Pinto, Victor Little, A.J. Bixler, and Reese Lewis are the line. The linebackers are Jack Diggins, Nathan Lehigh, and Luke Herder. RPI now with a 2nd and 11 at their own 33-yard line. DiMatteo faked a pitch to nobody. Now he's going to throw downfield, looking for a big gainer, and incomplete. Incomplete at the Rochester 35-yard line. Just a little off target there.
Yeah, I believe that was Grant on the reception.
No, I thought that might be Chris Ollie.
Okay, Ollie, who was down there. He had a step on his man. The pass was just led a hair too much. Couldn't quite haul it in.
Judah Thomas and Jordy Tawa are the cornerbacks for Rochester, and Brock Miller and Braden Felsinger are the safeties. Third down for RPI. DiMatteo throws, and that's broken up along the far sideline. That was a nice play on the far sideline by Jake Mason to get a hand in there and knock the pass away. And on 4th down, RPI will be punting for the first time today.
Darian Parker, one of the defensive linemen for the Yellow Jackets, coming in from the defensive left side, put some pressure on DiMatteo, forced that throw. The first one that was really off target because that was behind the receiver and almost had a chance of an interception there. So for the first time, the Engineers will be forced to punt this afternoon.
Kick is away. That's Anderson Burke with the punt. Nice kick. Retreat back to the 23-yard line. Now spinning it and going back in the other direction is not on the cheat sheet.
That's TJ Shiflett, a wide receiver.
Yes.
Normally a wide receiver back there to receive the punts for the Yellow Jackets.
So he was not listed on the 2 deep, but Shiflett on the punt return for Rochester gets it out to where they're putting it 28-yard line on Rochester side of the field. We have 6:07 to go here in the first quarter. 14-0. RPI's on top.
Well, newsflash, right? For the first time, the Engineers don't get the ball and just march right down the field and score a touchdown. They were forced to punt after not really getting anywhere. They kind of went backwards on that drive. And so now, you know, if you're Rochester, maybe you've got a little bit of confidence back, and now you want your offense to get something going, too.
Third possession for Rochester. 2 3-and-outs prior to that. Handoff. New man in the backfield. Jake Adelman is in the backfield right now. He takes that handoff, but only gets a yard up ahead to the 29-yard line.
Yeah, a host of Engineers there, perhaps led by P.J. Pockus, the linebacker. 3 guys in on that tackle, though.
RPI defense up front, Ethan Johnson, Owen Boland, Patrick O'Keefe, and Thomas Mackel. The linebackers are Matt Krauser, Miles Lafferty, and Tristan Corfanta. 2nd down and 9 for Rochester. Another straight ahead run here, and that's going to get nothing as well, as that's going to be stopped at the 30-yard line. The cornerbacks for RPI, the cornerbacks are Cassius Johnson and Thomas Mulvaney, and Luke Lavello and Aiden Beckenhuis are the defensive backs for RPI. So that's the RPI defense. Rochester 3rd and 8.
A whole host of Engineers in on that tackle, like 4 guys, among them Gianluca Santarelli, sort of leading the way.
So 3rd down and 8 for Rochester. 5 to go here in the first quarter. Rochester's right on their own 30-yard line. No first downs yet for the Yellow Jackets. As this is a 3 wide out formation, 2 running backs. Moran, nope, that's not Moran in there. That's Bellinger in there. Bellinger's throwing it downfield, and that's incomplete. Looking for Talone on RPI's 35-yard line right around there, and it goes incomplete. And Bellinger in a QB on that series or play. Didn't catch the chains, but there were 2 runs before that, so it was the first time somebody had to throw. But Rochester, nonetheless, incomplete on 3rd down. They've got another 4th down.
Well, a long throw to Talone, who was running down the left seam at about the 30, and he might have had a step on the RPI defender, but the ball just floated and hung up a little too long. And Talone was kind of waiting for it and kind of couldn't get his hands around it when it came down.
High snap, pulled down. Brainerd gets the kick away. And taking my Swanger near the 35. He's to the 40, escapes one man, escapes a second, 45, 50, to the Rochester 45, to the 40, and then caught from behind, right near the 38-yard line. 37, they'll mark him down. Great field position for RPI in their next possession. 4:31 to go, first quarter, 14-0 RPI on top.
Or some nice blocking on the punt return team for RPI to spring that for a long gain. Among those guys doing that yeoman's work, Thomas Mulvaney. He's a senior defensive back, 5'10", out of Norton, Massachusetts. He was the first blocker that helped spring that return all the way down to the Rochester 37.
RPI with the 1st and 10. First time starting on Rochester's side of the field today. They'll bunch everybody in. Most everybody's bunched in and to the right, and this will be a pitch. And RPI is going to go on the ground to the left, and that's Garong on the carry now for RPI, and he's out of bounds where? He's going to be out of bounds at the 34, so he picked up about 3 yards.
Garung spelling Caden White there just a bit. White's been the workhorse. Garung is coming in. He's kind of the backup. So far this year, he has had 11 carries for 23 yards. Kind of shows you how much that White has carried the load. He's had 43 carries coming into this game.
2nd down and 7 at the 34 for RPI. 3 wide out formation. Garong will take the carry once again. Didn't see anything to the left. Goes up the middle, and he gets almost a first down. Doesn't get a first down, but almost. He's down to the 28.
Again, a nice switchback by an RPI runner in mid-play. He was designed to go sort of towards left tackle. Nothing was there, so he did a quick sidestep to the right and ends up getting down to the 28.
3rd down and 1 for the Engineers at the 28. Don't pay attention to the scoreboard. Now they've got it right. It's a 28-yard line. 3rd and 1. Garung takes a handoff, escapes one man, goes to the sideline. He's got the first down, and he'll step out of bounds at the 26. But that'll move the chains for RPI.
Well, a nice stiff arm there by Garung because the linebacker, Gavin Gadetti, number 50, came up for the Yellow Jackets, broke through the line, had a hand on Garung in the backfield, but Garung was able to use that offhand to stiff arm that helmet of Gadetti and get around him, and instead of about a 5-yard loss, he gets down to the 26.
So a new set of downs for RPI to 26-yard line. 3 minutes to go here, first quarter. 14-0. RPI leads Rochester. Garung will go out of the backfield, so this is a 5 wide out formation, and it'll be a completion over the middle and down to the 8-yard line is Nicholson, number 8, as I'm trying to unconfuse myself with the numbers, and DiMatteo makes the completion. Nicholson down to the 8. It'll be a 1st and goal RPI.
Paisley Nicholson was lined up in a slot on the left side, ran up the left hash mark, did about 8 yards, and just did a quick turnaround to his left, and that was able to lose the defender, and that's what made that play, just a quick cut by Paisley Nicholson.
So they'll put it up to 9. I was wrong about the 8. Pass down to the 5-yard line to Nicholson again, and he's going to get tackled at about the 3. So no first down there, or no touchdown for RPI. Felsinger on the tackle for Rochester.
He was lined up on the left, and the defenders are way back off of him, 5 yards off, so he just took about 3 steps forward and turned around and was there for the reception.
2nd and goal from the 3 for RPI. Garung is in the backfield. DiMattio's looking over to the sidelines. Plenty of time on the play clock. They've got 10 seconds left. They reset. Now they're shifting again. Now they're set again with 5 seconds to go. 2nd and goal at the 3. Pass over the middle. That is complete. No touchdown. No touchdown. Daniel Santos tackled the receiver before he could get to the end zone, and it'll be a 3rd and goal at the 2.
That was Josh Young. One thing that DiMatteo did not see, however, was a wide open Garung in the left corner of the end zone. He had like 2 steps on his defender. He kind of just released out of the backfield and for a moment had nobody on him.
3rd and goal officially at the 1. And it's really the 2. Scoreboard says 1, but it's really the 2.
Wildcat formation.
Yeah, and that was a direct snap to Young, and he's going to get caught behind the line of scrimmage. He's going to get caught at the 2. He got back to the line of scrimmage, but that didn't work. So RPI is now with a 4th and goal at the 2.
No, and it's just for those not familiar, the Wildcat, basically the quarterback's lined up behind the center, but at the last second, he, with his hands waving downward, all of the backfield players shift. He moves out to the right, and Young, a receiver, goes back in the quarterback position to receive the snap. It's sort of a trick play. It didn't work at all against Rochester right there.
So RPI is going to send out Merrick to try a 19-yard field goal from the right hash. Snap. Spot is down. The kick is up, and the kick is good. There are 13 seconds left here in quarter number 1, and RPI has a 17-0 lead.
Well, you could wrap that up as just like the perfect first quarter for the RPI Engineers. They've had the ball 4 times. They've had 3 scores. They're up 17-0. And just look at some of the total stats here. It just spells out the domination that the Engineers have had. First downs, Rochester 0, RPI 6. Total rushing yards, 4 for the Yellow Jackets, 37 for the Engineers. Total passing yards, 9 for Rochester and 168 for RPI. And these two teams were, again, in the preseason poll, predicted 3 and 4 in the standings in the coaches poll. So perceptively coming in, looking at teams that should be about neck and neck. But it has been all Engineers here this first quarter.
Gray tees the ball up at the 35-yard line, nearing the end of the first quarter in Troy. It was sunny right up until kickoff, and now it's overcast. In the 70s here in Troy, it was just, the sun was annoying in the press box up until the clouds came in. The kickoff will go to the 10-yard line, and it'll be to the 15, near the 20, and that's about it. And I think that time Judah Thomas was on the return. It was not Genovese, who was deeper than him. The ball didn't get that deep. So Rochester, with 7 seconds left in the quarter, will have the ball starting at their own 22. So maybe one play, maybe 2, and a little bit of time to think for Rochester. And then we'll be in the second quarter.
Nine total yards of offense for the Yellow Jackets so far.
This is their 4th possession. That's not an average. Belzinger is going to throw on first down, and he overthrows his, Bellinger, pardon me. Bellinger overthrows his man, so it's Bellinger out there for the last 2 series. Overthrows his man, it's incomplete on first down.
Bellinger is a freshman for the Yellow Jackets. He's the backup to Moran, but he's getting more and more playing time. Last week against St. John Fisher, he came in and hit on 8 straight completions. And Kurt, that's part of what made him the conference's Rookie of the Week. So he's off to a good start with the Yellow Jackets, and they're bringing him in now in the first quarter because they're down so big.
Second down. Bellinger is going to roll out to his right, throws towards the sidelines, and that's incomplete. Somebody went out of bounds, but it doesn't matter. The ball wasn't caught, and that'll do it for the first quarter here in Troy. RPI 17, Rochester nothing after 15 minutes of play.
Lots and lots of pressure by the RPI rush there on Bellinger. Matt Krause, number 14, was one of the guys in there. Also, Griffin Mucci, one of the freshman linebackers, was back there as well. Bellinger just had to unload that one and threw it out of bounds rather than risking an interception.
Rochester and RPI, the series overall. RPI trails in this series. Started in 1906.
Our communities and our campus are forever grateful for the commitment and sacrifice displayed by our military on a daily basis. We invite any past, present, and future service members that are able and wish to stand to please do so at this time, as our fans would love to show their respect and appreciation for our military with a big round of applause.
RPI defense and the Rochester offense as they switch sides. Rochester no first downs at all in the first quarter. Total of 4 rushing yards and 5 passing yards. And that's in, what, 3 possessions or on the 4th possession?
This is fourth possession right now. 3rd down and 10. Bellinger has to roll out to his right, throws. That's complete, but not a first down. Knocked out at the 30-yard line was Ryan Van Diver. Short of the first down. He's 2 yards short.
Looking over to the sideline, I think the punt team's coming on now. For a moment, they were looking over the sideline to see if they would go for it, which would be pretty darn risky at your own 30. But then again, you know, when you're down 17 points, you're probably going to have to start taking risk at some point.
So Brainerd is back to punt. Swanger is at his own 35 for RPI to receive. Snap back, the kick's away. Taken by Swanger at the 43. He slid as he caught. I don't know if he fair catched it or not, but it doesn't matter. He slid down to the ground to catch it, and he's down there. So 14-12 to go, second quarter here in Troy. 17-0 RPI on top, and RPI's got the ball at their own 43 for possession number 5.
Well, let's look at some of the RPI numbers on offense. We've been talking about how well their defense is playing. In the first quarter, again, 17 points, 2 touchdown drives, and a field goal. They have 6 first downs. They have a total of 37 yards on the ground, and in the air, an additional, 131 yards. DiMatteo 8 for 10 in that first quarter.
RPI on first down. That is not DiMatteo in there. That is Garbolino. If I'm not mistaken, that is a 12. Yes, Garbolino in there at QB right now for RPI. He will run more than DiMatteo. So Garbolino in at QB now for RPI. So 4 quarterbacks have played already today. You gotta love that. Dual wideouts each side. RPI's got a new running back as well. Garbolino throws, and that's incomplete along the far sideline. Everybody ran for the ball because it looked like it might have been a lateral. It was not. That was a forward pass. So that is Lex Fondelius back there at running back right now for RPI. I don't recall him playing yet this year.
I believe that play was out there to I think it was Nicholson just try to run a little too quickly. The ball hadn't quite arrived. He hadn't gathered it in with both hands. Never really caught it, juggled it, and dropped the pass.
Ihui goes in motion as it's a 3rd down and 8 for RPI. Garbolino gets hit as he throws, and that'll be incomplete on 3rd down. It went dying into an area where nobody really was. So incomplete pass on 3rd down. RPI is going to punt on 4th down.
On 3rd and long, Rochester decided to send just about everybody on the rush, and the first guy to get to him was number 23, Judah Thomas, a senior, 5'10", 173 out of St. Paul, Minnesota, coming from the quarterback's right side and just got a hit on him, and the ball just kind of fluttered in the air and dropped only a few yards beyond the line of scrimmage.
So 4th down and 8, RPI's got the punt team out there. High snap. Burke pulls it down. Good kick. Taken at the 11-yard line and then forced out of bounds along the side. Shiflett on the return once again. Forced out of bounds at the 19. Rochester, this will be their 5th possession of the game. Can they do something? 17-0. RPI leads here. Second quarter. Sun trying to peek out of the clouds. It looks like it's going to be overcast for the rest of this game. No real wind to speak of. Slight breeze. If you're lucky, you can feel it. 1st and 10 for Rochester on the ground, and this is going to be maybe a yard on the forward progress at best. Yeah,
and they're trying another quarterback yet again. It's number 6, Jet Genovese. He's a 5'11" freshman out of Phillipsburg, New Jersey. So the Yellow Jackets trying anything. They've tried Moran, they've tried Bellinger, and now Genovese is in at quarterback. Trying to get anything going.
Jay Zeng is now the running back. He had that carry. So a lot of substitutions already in this first half. And Genovese is going to run to his right, and he's going to get caught after he crosses the line of scrimmage. He's out to the 25-yard line.
Well, that was a nice read by Genovese. It's kind of a sweep out to the right, but as he got out there, he saw that there was a slot sort of in the interior on the right hash mark. He cut up the field and got all the way to the 25. It's probably the best rushing play all afternoon for the Yellow Jackets.
Rochester facing another third down. They are 0 for 4 on third down conversions. No first downs today for Rochester. They'll stack receivers, 2 on each side. Genovese loses a snap, and he has to go pick it up, and he's got to down it, and that'll be a loss of yards, and Rochester's going to be punting.
Yeah, I think it was just a case of a quarterback trying to do something too quickly. He started to turn to his left. They had a sort of a wide receiver screen set up on the left side, but he fumbled it. He never even got the ball. And there to make the tackle, T.J. Chadwick for the Engineers will get credit for the tackle for loss and force a fourth down punt here for Rochester.
Brainerd inside the 5 to kick this. RPI minimal rush, not as strong a rush as before. Taking my Swanger at the 46 on RPI side of the field, to the 50, to the 45, drags a man with him. He'll get brought down inside the 40, and RPI's got good field position. Sorzana on the tackle there on special teams for Rochester, but RPI will have it at the Rochester 37, up 17-0 over Rochester with 11:15 to go here in the first half.
Second nice return there of the game for the Engineers, as again, every facet seems to be working. Offense, defense, and even special teams. Swanger had a 29-yard return earlier in the first quarter. Now has two returns for 46 yards.
Okay, DiMattio's back out there for RPI at QB. Handoff on first down. That goes to White. He's back out there. He finds a hole to the 20, 15, 10, 5. White's in for the touchdown. RPI leads 23-0.
Nobody in the secondary for Rochester, and that's why that hole opened up so widely. The Engineers, playing on the right side, the near side of the field, sent wide receivers to the left who went out for a pass, and they took all of the defensive backs with them. So once Caden White broke through the middle and got 2 yards down the field, from the 27, or rather the 32 on, there was just nobody in the way. It was just clear sailing.
Merrick out to try the extra point. Spot is down, kick is up, kick is good. 11:07 to go, first half. RPI 24, Rochester nothing.
And the one thing, not to second guess here, but the one thing that's curious about the way Rochester defended that play, Kurt, is that, I mean, Caden White is the horse for the Engineers on the offense. Of their offensive carries, he carries what, I don't know, 60-70% of the time. And I'm just a little surprised that they didn't have someone just spying on him, keying on him all the time, because their linebackers were out of position and the defensive backs were occupied with the receivers. So like I say, once Caden broke through the initial scrum of the line and got 2 yards down the field, it was just clear sailing.
That play was not that different from the overtime winning run last week. Not all that different, just longer. RPI in command here at the East Campus Stadium, 24-0 over Rochester.
Caden White, by the way, now officially 6 carries for 54 yards, so that's 9 yards a carry.
Gray's kick high and taken inside the 10-yard line by Genovese, and he's going to make a break, and he's got a hold to the 35, to the 40, and then he's caught as he got past the 40-yard line, getting into a little bit of a tussle with one of the RPI players. But no flag, and if I'm not mistaken, there's been no flag so far today.
And it's Genovese, who's like playing quarterback just a couple of minutes ago, back there on special teams to field the kick and bringing it all the way out to the 43. He had some open field. I don't think he ever had a chance for a touchdown, but he could have, he was definitely going to get out to midfield once that play opened up for Rochester. special teams play that's actually their most productive play so far today.
Yes, and they're at the 43, their best start today for the Yellow Jackets. As they're in a 24-0 hole right now and haven't found the first down. They have no first downs today. 4 wide receiver formation. Who's in a QB? And that's Moran back in there at QB, and he's going to run it, and he's going to get up to the 50-yard line. So he picks up 7.
They've been shifting quarterbacks in and out, trying to find somebody who could get it going. They started with Victor Moran. They switched to Bellinger. Genovese had a one set in there at quarterback. Now back to Moran.
Now all of these players have gotten action prior to today's game, so it's not odd that they've all seen some action here. Rochester's going to get their first down. Rue with the carry goes out to the left along the sideline, and Rue's going to get inside the 20, and that'll be the first down for Rochester today.
Well, that went off the left end, and it looked like it was designed to go a little more to the interior, like the left tackle, but give Rochester credit. Their left side of the line just sealed off all of the RPI defenders, and so Rue broke it to the left, and he had the sideline for a long run all the way down to the 20.
3 wide receiver formation. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line for Rochester. 24-0. RPI leads Rochester. 9:50 to go in the first half.
30-yard carry for Rue. That is by far the best offensive play for the Yellow Jackets today.
1st and 10. Moran's going to roll to his right. Looking sidelines, got a man at the 15-yard line. He's going to pull forward for another 2 yards down to at the 13. And so that is Talone on the reception for Rochester.
Sort of a nice, safe play, just a quarterback sprint out to the right sideline.
Three wide out formation. You got a tight end on the right. And fake the handoff to Rue. Moran's going to go end zone, and that is incomplete. A lot of pushing and shoving between the defender and the receiver on that side, but no flag. So it'll be 3rd down and 3 for Rochester.
Yeah, Jeremy Tantello was the wide receiver, and a lot of, like you say, a lot of pushing and shoving. It was Cassius Johnson, the defensive back. Talone trying to use a little bit of height there, because Johnson stands only about 5'10", but he fended off the receiver well without committing a penalty.
Rochester will take a timeout with 9:03 to go in the first half. Trailing 24-0 and looking at a 3rd and 3 at their own 13-yard line. First timeout of this first half for anybody. Should mention Chad Martinovich is the head coach for the Rochester Yellow Jackets. Ralph Iserni, of course, the head coach for RPI. And the man who has not gotten any time today so far, the referee today is Calvin Brown. There have been no flags. He hasn't told us anything. So I should get his name in there. Calvin Brown is the referee today.
So big play here, 3rd down and 3. Ball sitting at the 13. Bigger play really for Rochester's offense, I would say, than RPI's defense. Rochester's, until this drive, hadn't moved the ball at all. They finally got something going. So they're down 24 points. They obviously are in desperate need of a score here. Probably 2-down territory, Kurt. So it's 3rd down and 3 from the 13. They're going from the right to the left. They're on the right hash mark, so that's the far side. And the 2 guys I gotta think you gotta look for are Rue, the running back 2, or the favored receiver, Aiden Papantonis, who hasn't had much action so far today.
Timeout is over with. 3rd down and 3 at the 13 of RPI. Rochester on offense. 4 wide out formation. You got Rue in the backfield. Moran is the quarterback. Moran's looking sideline, and it's a bounce pass. Hits the ground on the bounce. That doesn't count. Papantonis was the intended receiver, and now it's 4th down for Rochester, and they're going to kick.
And he had room. He had shaken his defender, but Moran just hurried that throw and short-armed it. Instead of getting it all the way to the sideline where Papantonis was standing at the 8, which clearly would have been a first down, he one-hopped the throw. Moran one-hopped the throw. And instead of getting the first down, Rochester's going to try to settle for a field goal attempt here.
This is a 30-yard attempt from the right hash. Brainerd is out. Talone, I believe, is the holder. The snap, ball's down. The kick is up. The kick is good. Rochester gets on the board with 8:56 to go in the first half. It's now RPI 24, Rochester 3.
Well, it's just a field goal, but you can see the Yellow Jackets special teams heading off to the sideline with a little bit of more pep in their step. They're finally getting on the board, finally getting a drive going. RPI holds them short of getting inside the 10. They're forced to kick the field goal, but the Yellow Jackets are on the board now. 24-3, RPI leading. 8 minutes, 56 seconds to go here in the first half in Troy.
What won't be happening today is what happened in 3 of the first 5 games between these two schools, and that is a 0-0 tie. Looking up little factoids before today's game, and that's one of the things I noticed. 3 of the first 5 games between these two scores, 0-0 tie. Of course, that was back in the 1800s. No passing. No pass plays. It was ground game. Kickoff is short. Taken by an up man, whoops, drops it, picks it up at the 20-yard line. An RPI up man to the 25 and down at the 28. Looks like Borkowski. I think that was Borkowski on the return. I didn't expect to be doing this right now kind of return.
Yep. The way the schedule is traditionally worked out for 5 of the last 6 years, Rochester meets RPI in the league opener for both teams, so it kind of sets the tone for either one. Last year, as you mentioned, Rochester pulling off the victory out in Rochester kind of set the tone for an RPI season that ended up 5-5.
First down, RPI on the ground to White. White breaks one tackle to the 35, and White is out to the 37. That's a gain of 8 as RPI is going to start this drive at the 29-yard line, up 24-3.
Caden White, the workhorse in the running game. He's now got 7 carries for a total of 54 yards.
Second and 2 at the 37-yard line. RPI's got their, we'll call it the starting lineup out there again. DiMatteo at quarterback, handoff to White. White's going to pitch the ball back the other direction, and RPI is going to get a first down as they go to the right side on the reverse, and it went to Ihui on the reverse. So it was DiMatteo giving it to White, pitched to Ihui, comes to the right side and gets up ahead to the 48, and that's a first down for RPI.
Well, a little bit of razzle-dazzle mixed into the playbook there. The Engineers up by 3 touchdowns. Why not? Why not try something out, try something new, something that you might want to also try later in the season? You've got some cushion right now to do so.
First and 10 at the 48 for RPI, 7:35 to go here in the first half. DiMatteo looks to go to the left, now throws it downfield, and the closest person was Jake Mason on defense, who got his fingertips on the ball, but it goes incomplete.
Yeah, first pass of the afternoon that was just not really there for DiMatteo. He's had such a terrific first quarter with the 2 touchdown passes and going 8 of 10. That's the first time we've seen him just really misfire on a pass.
It'll be second down now for RPI. We've got a 3 wide out formation. Tight end on the right, and there's the running back. And White's going to take the slightly delayed handoff, and he's going to try to back his way across the 50. He does, and he's down to the Rochester 48. So RPI now with a 3rd and 6 on Rochester's side of the field. RPI 3 for 6 on 3rd down today. 3 wide receivers. You got Young is technically off the line on the left side. White in the backfield next to DiMatteo. DiMatteo takes a snap. He's going to sling this one downfield, overthrows Encarnacion, the intended receiver, and RPI has got a 4th down.
Well, and that overthrow is directly attributable to a really good Yellow Jacket pass rush there. DiMatteo had no time to really set up at all. Daniel Santos, a linebacker, was back there Also back there with him, Claudio Pinto, a defensive lineman, even a bigger defensive lineman, goes 230. He was back there putting the pressure on DiMatteo as well.
Burke out to punt. Shiflett is back near the 10-yard line for Rochester. Good snap, kick is away, end-over-end kick, and that's going to be a fair catch by Shiflett. He's going to take it right near the 10-yard line. So Rochester gets the ball for the 7th time today. We've got 6:34 to go here first half. RPI 24, Rochester 3.
Take a look real quick at some of the defensive stats while we have a chance. It's been a pretty balanced attack for the Engineers defense, and it's really clamping down on Rochester. Krause, the leading tackler so far in solos with 3. Chadwick has 2 solo tackles and an assist for a total of 3. Also mentioned Wilmot has 2 solo tackles for the Engineers.
Okay, I believe Moran is still out there at QB. Rochester first down at their own 10. And that's Papantonis coming across from the wide receiver position, takes the handoff, and he's going to be out of bounds at around the 15. Looks like a gain of 5. Nope, I was wrong on that. That is Bellinger out there at QB. So again, longing for the days of the dirt field because Rochester's wearing all white, and it would have been easy once people start getting their uniforms dirty to tell the difference between them when you can't see the number. That's what used to happen. Now nobody gets dirty, so it's just white. White person with a white uniform, dark helmet, and I can't see the number, and that's the way it goes. Running game, that's not ruined there at running back. This will be a first down, though, to the 22-yard line, and that's Adelman back in at running back for Rochester. So they're constantly switching out on offense, but Rochester's got a first down now to the 22-yard line.
Adelman's basically their number 2 guy at running back. He subs for Rue, and he got in and got the first down there. A little smaller guy, a little quicker. He's 5'8", 170, a senior out of Massachusetts.
So first and 10 Rochester of their own 22. 5:20 to go here in the first half. And fake the handoff to Adelman. Throw along the sidelines. Papantonis has it at the 40. That'll be a first down. Now to the 50. And he rolls over the RPI defender, but he's down to the RPI 49, and that's a first down for Rochester.
Papantonis is their most dangerous receiver. He comes into this game averaging 5 catches per game, but he's been pretty silent so far today. The RPI defensive backs really keeping him clamped down. That's the first time that he really got open deep in the secondary.
Rochester at the RPI 49 for a first and 10. 4:45 to go first half, 24-3. Rochester trailing RPI. Kane is going to shift over to the left side as Bellinger makes the throw. That'll be a completion for about 6 yards to Tantello.
Now he's seeing some rhythm develop here on the Yellow Jackets offense, and they're starting to really move the ball. And 4 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the half. And a look here, they've been blindsided by this big start by RPI, but if they get down and get a touchdown here, back in the ball game, sort of.
Second down. Bellinger's throw is off target to Tantello, and that'll be incomplete on second down. If they get a touchdown here and they can hold RPI, if they get the ball back, you go in 2 touchdowns down, plus Rochester gets the ball to start at the third quarter.
Boland among the rushers in there for the RPI defenders. Owen Boland really put a lot of pressure on Bellinger. He had to hurry that throw. That's why that one was incomplete. Big third down right now.
3rd and 4 at the RPI 43 for Rochester. 3 wide out formation. They're going to go to the ground to Adelman, and he's not going to get the first down. He is stopped short of the 41, and he needed to make it to the 39.
I'm wondering, I think they're going to go for it here. It's 4th down and 2.5, almost 3, but you're down 24-3. You've not really moved the ball that well. You're finally getting some rhythm, and the offense is staying on the field. Bellinger looking to the sideline for a play call. Papantonis, one dangerous guy to watch. He's on the left side in the slot position.
Adelman is the running back. Bellinger throws, and that's way off target.
That's bad read. Bad read. He was going for Tantello on the right side, who was never open.
Yeah, so it's a turnover on downs. We should clarify that. That was 4th down. So a turnover on downs. RPI gets the ball at their own 41. 3:21 to go in this first half. RPI leading 24-3.
It was like he was committed to throwing to the right side no matter what, because as soon as the snap came, the quarterback turns his head to the right. He's looking to the right sideline. Tantello is completely covered by RPI. Meanwhile, on the left, he had 2 receivers, but he never once took a second look anywhere. He just rushed the throw, and that had no chance of being complete whatsoever.
He probably had a better option of just trying to run it at that point. 1st and 10, RPI at the 41, up by 21 here in the first half, and maybe a gain of 1 on that play. And Garung is in there for RPI at running back now. So both teams switching up a lot of their personnel on offense. Defense as well, but it's more clear on offense because they're the ones who touch the ball more.
Garung, should mention, is a sophomore, just a sophomore, 5'10", 180 out of Belmont, Massachusetts, basically greater Boston, suburban Boston.
I was about to say Belmont. We're talking New York? No.
Belmont, Mass.
Four wide receiver formation for RPI, 2:40 to go in the half. 2nd down and 9. And quick pass in the flat. That is complete to the 45 and to the 50. Close. That was Garung close to a 1st down, but not quite. 3rd down and 1, RPI. Is 2:25 left on the clock.
He was lined up to the quarterback's right, and with the snap just sprinted as fast as he could to the right for the little outlet pass. Made it work. Almost got the 1st down.
Coming up on the 2-minute timeout. RPI does not have to snap the ball. 5 seconds left for that. They'll snap it. They give us to Garung, and he's going to get hit in the backfield, and he's not going to get the 1st down. He's actually going to lose a yard. They're going to come in on the RPI 49 here, and he's going to lose a yard. So we'll have the 2-minute timeout here in Troy. Still trying to get used to that in the college game. 24-3, RPI leads Rochester.
Well, he was stopped by basically the biggest guy on the field for Rochester, Victor Little, who goes 6'3", 280. Isn't that always the case? The biggest guy on the field is named Little. Anyway, he's takes up a lot of room on the offensive line, or rather defensive line for Rochester. We haven't called his name much yet today because the RPI offense has just been motoring down the field. But that time, Victor Little able to clog up the middle of the field and knock Garung, actually for probably a hair of a loss, although probably listed as 0 gain on that. So 4th down from the 40. Yeah, it was a loss of 1. So 4th down from the RPI 49 with 1:55 to play in the half. And of course, that's when you cue up the gland to play Smoke on the Water below us here on the RPI side of the field.
Yeah, so I'm still getting used to this timeout in college ball. I like not having the 2-minute timeout. I understand for television purposes they like it.
Now, wait a minute. We got a moment here. What about changes in the Canadian football field? You are a big Canadian football fan, and they have this 110-yard field, and they have the goal post right at the goal line. They're changing all of that. They're not going to change 12 men. They're not going to change 3 downs, but big radical change for you CFL fans.
There are Canadians not happy.
Yeah.
You don't want to make the Canadians unhappy. I don't think it's going to change the game much.
Okay, good. As long as they still have the 1-point rouge.
Yeah, it's going to change how that's scored because they're tired of people trying to kick a field goal in a tied game as time expires, missing, and still getting a point and winning.
Right.
It seems kind of weird when that happens. But back to the game here. Yes, RPI's punting here on 4th down and 2 at the 49-yard line. Burke, good snap, boots it away, and the return man is going to tell everybody to get away from it, that Shiflett, and it's going to roll inside the 10 down to the 7. So 1:45 left to go. Rochester starting out at their own 8. They only have 2 timeouts left. I think Rochester's biggest thing here is don't make a mistake and give RPI an opportunity deep in their own territory.
Engineers have 3 timeouts left, Kurt. So the other thing to watch for here is if Rochester can't get a first down, if they're just, running plays, is RPI going to call some quick timeouts, maybe force a punt, have a minute to come down and kick a field goal or something else?
All right, so here we have a quarterback. Is that Bellinger? I can't see the number.
It's kind of hidden, as it's difficult to see in the sight lines.
First down at the 8-yard line. It is Bellinger. They're going to hand off on first down and get the ball down to the 11, and RPI is going to call a timeout. Okay, so RPI had 3 timeouts. If they can get a 3, if they can stop Rochester from getting a first down on the next 2 downs, then RPI is looking to get the ball back with some time left.
And then if you're Rochester, what do? Do you just run the ball 3 straight times and try to run out as much clock? It'll run some clock, but you might not get the first down. Do you put the ball up in the air,
timeout,
taking a risk,
RPI,
but
their
try
first
to
and a half.
at least get 1 first down and not give RPI a scoring opportunity in the last minute of the first half?
Just a reminder, this is WRPI Troy with Engineer Football from the East Campus Stadium. Kurt Stutt and Yancey Roy on the call for you today. We've got 1:38 left on the clock in the first half. RPI leading Rochester 24-3. Yeah, there's not a lot of good choices here. I think you really want to burn those timeouts off the clock. Then at least if you don't get the first down and punt it, RPI is dealing with some clock issues perhaps. Ideally, you want to get the first down.
Keep an eye on Papantonis. He is wide right, far side, as the Yellow Jackets move from right to left on your screen or on your radio dial or your computer screen. He's their leading receiver. He had a 29-yard reception just a few minutes ago. They're trying to get him untracked.
Or your phone. Could be on the phone. They're going to pass here, and that's a short pass behind the line of scrimmage. It goes to Rue. Rue's going to get forced out at the 14, and that doesn't help Rochester as much as you think because that just stopped the clock.
Without RPI having to use a timeout. Rue tried to swing it right, and on the one hand, that was a good move because he was able to get about 5 extra yards, but he was also forced out of bounds on that play. Didn't get the number, of the RPI tackler. But, yeah, stops the clock with 1:32, and it leaves him with a 3rd down and 4 to go.
So this is the 3rd and 4 play. Can Rochester get a first down? RPI still now with 2 timeouts left because Rochester went out of bounds on that play. Ball's on the 14-yard line. Rochester side of the field, so ball security is important here. Bellinger throws. That's complete. That'll be a first down out to about the 21-yard line, and a little bit more now as they're still pushing and shoving. The receiver stayed on his feet and kept moving around. So that was Papantonis on the reception out to the 24. RPI not taking timeouts now. They only have 2. Can't force Rochester to...
Well, if you really need if you're Rochester and you really need a positive play to get a first down, who do you go to? Papantonis. And that time they did on a little slant route from the right side for the first down.
So they're out to the 24. Rochester first down. Moran, right before he gets hit, throws. Papantonis has it on the far side, and he's down to the 43-ish.
He found a little seam on that right side. He got behind the early cover, a linebacker who had come up in short coverage, but the defensive back Johnson had dropped way back and given him room, and there was Papantonis sitting in between the two with no defender within 4 or 5 yards either side of him and able to get across the 40.
So 1st and 10 to 43 for Rochester, trailing 24-3 here late in the first half. Another throw, and that is incomplete as throwing into triple coverage for Talone, and it goes. They're lucky it's incomplete.
Yeah, that was just well read, and one of the defensive backs, Thomas Mulvaney, was up near the line of scrimmage, but he read the quarterback all the way because he was just telegraphed. He never looked away to any other receiver. Mulvaney dropped back from his position, and like you said, it ended up with 3 red jerseys around 1 white jerseyed receiver along the left sideline.
59 seconds left here in the first half. Rochester with a 2nd and 10 at their own 43. Both teams with 2 timeouts left in the half. 24-3, RPI on top. So Rochester trying to get some points here before they go into the locker room. Pass complete to Rue in the flat. Escapes one man, and he's out of bounds at the 47-ish. Yeah, he'll be out of bounds at the 47 on 2nd and 10. That'll make it 3rd and 6.
Yellow Jackets just really trying, putting some effort into this last drive. They could have just clocked it in, and it was close enough to the half to try to run out the clock and punt or whatever, but Really trying to do something positive here at the end of the first half.
3rd down and 6 for Rochester at their own 47. 3 wide out formation. Rue in the backfield. Moran throws. That was tipped. Tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it goes incomplete.
One issue Bellinger is having right now is when he gets a snap, he's been looking at one receiver, and that time it was Papantonis. And as you mentioned, the ball was tipped, and maybe that was a good thing for Rochester because Papantonis was covered, just blanketed by 2 red jerseys. I don't know what even had enough room to make that catch, even if it was on target.
So Rochester sending out the punt team with 51 seconds left in the first half. The end of the first half is crawling along. Brainerd gets the snap, gets it away, he's touched. They're going to say no problem there. Swanger gets it at the 20, and he's going to be downed almost immediately. So Brainerd's talking to the referee saying, hey, can I get something here? And he's not going to. So 42 seconds are left here in the first half. RPI 24-3, and they'll have it at their own 21.
Yeah, looking for a running into the kicker, roughing the kicker call, but to no avail. So the Engineers start at their 21 with 42 seconds to go in the half. RPI is leading Rochester 24-3. If you missed the first quarter, the RPI offense came out like a lightning strike. 2 quick touchdowns, marched right down the field, some long passes, and quickly went up 17-0, now leaving 24-3 here in the first half.
RPI on first down at their own 21. Give to White. White's got room. He's got a first down, and White's out to the 35. And that'll stop the clock. First down, it'll stop the clock while they move the ball in the last 2 minutes of the half. So 36 seconds are left. RPI is not taking a timeout.
I'd be curious to see if they throw the ball downfield. I think they were going to be content to run it, but now at the 35, at least you can think about it.
So clock is running again. 30 seconds left as the play is underway. Pass that is incomplete. RPI was looking for Young on the sidelines, but the defender more or less inadvertently got right in front of that pass.
Yeah, Braden Felsinger, number 2, a defensive back, a junior for the Yellow Jackets, was beaten on the play, but credit to him, he recovered, and as you said, kind of just got right in front of the receiver, and I think he got contact on the ball and an incomplete pass for the Engineers.
So 2nd and 10 to 35, 26 seconds left for RPI. With 2 timeouts left, and we get first flag of the game?
I think it's going to be offsides jumping off on the right end there for the Yellow Jackets. Oh, no.
False start against RPI.
Okay.
So that's the first penalty of the game. Calvin Brown, for the first time, has to explain something today.
False start. Offense number 51. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
So that'll back RPI up to the 30. .26 ticks on the clock. RPI with 2 timeouts. Second and 15 from the 30-yard line.
Only 3 in rush position for Rochester.
Handoff goes to White. He's going to the right side, and there's enough Rochester players to stop him at the 33-yard line. RPI may not be...
That might be it for the half. Nobody's rushing back to the line. Nobody's calling timeout.
We're down to 10 seconds left to go in the half. I think RPI is content to let the clock run out, and Rochester is also going to say, all right, if that's what you're going to do, we're going to do that, and that's what happened. So the half ends here in Troy. 24-3, RPI leads Rochester after 30 minutes.
Well, again, you couldn't have a better start for RPI. 2 touchdown drives right out of the gate, up 17-0, like lickety split before everybody could even get seated, it seemed. And they cruise into halftime with a 24-3 lead here over Rochester. Some of the statistics have evened out after that first quarter, but still it's very one-sided for the Engineers. Just quickly before we go to the break, total yards 147 for Rochester. It's much better than their first quarter when they had 9. And 255 for the Engineers. Engineers mixing up the pass and the run game very well together. 139 passing, 116 rushing. Pretty much everything has clicked on offense, and that's why they're up 24-3. Pretty much everything has clicked on defense as well, Kirk. Just a best half of the year for the Engineers.
RPI going into the locker room with a 3-touchdown lead here in Troy. We're going to take a break. Halftime, we'll run you down how Liberty League teams did last weekend. So that'll be coming to you during halftime, and then we'll be back for the second half here at the East Campus Stadium. So the score after one half of play here in Troy, it is RPI 24 and Rochester 3, and you're listening to live coverage of Engineer football on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
Great job by your RPI cheer team. That was the dance team. Great job by both the cheer team and dance team today. Fans, please welcome the RPI Pep Band to the field and join them in the singing of the Alma Mater.
That's great. I can't wait to feel M&M's.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking. Delta.
Still louder, guys. And girls.
Let's hear it one more time for your RPI Pep Band. Fans score a great deal with any one of Rensselaer Honda's amazing automobiles just 1 mile east from ECAB Stadium at Rensselaer Honda, 770 Hoosick Road, Troy, or visit us online at www.gethonda.net. Come experience why Rensselaer Honda is simply better.
Penalba and Chase Myers combined for 3 rushing touchdowns, part of a dominant ground attack that averaged 6.6 yards per carry and found the end zone 6 times. Ithaca's defense was equally dominant, surrendering just 5 first downs and 108 total yards while pitching a shutout after a second quarter field goal. They held Hilbert to 2.1 yards per rush and 13 passing yards on 1 of 2 attempts. The Bombers scored in all 4 quarters, capped by a pair of fourth quarter rushing touchdowns, and converted 7 of 8 red zone chances. And finally, last Saturday night, Alfred State exploded for 21 first quarter points and never let up, hammering Buffalo State with a relentless offense built around star back Noah Courier. Courier was unstoppable, scoring 6 total touchdowns, 4 rushing and 2 receiving, while piling up 204 yards from scrimmage. He opened the scoring with a 1-yard plunge, added a 58-yard touchdown reception, and scored again on a 3-yard catch as the Pioneers built up a commanding 21-0 lead. Buffalo State briefly answered with Jedi Higdon scoring touchdown run, but Alfred State responded with 2 more scores for halftime to go up 35-7. Quarterback Justin Horvath was efficient, completing 15 of 20 passes for 173 yards and 3 touchdowns, while the rushing attack racked up 233 yards at 6.3 yards per carry. The Pioneers converted 6 of 6 red zone opportunities and averaged 7.4 yards per play. Buffalo State quarterback Noah Kimball threw for 207 yards but was intercepted twice, and while Higdon added 2 rushing touchdowns, the Bengals struggled to slow Alfred State's pace. The Pioneers sealed the rout with an 18-play, 9-minute drive in the fourth quarter, capping a statement win that moved them to 2-1. So after last week's actions, Liberty League standings, Ithaca's on top with a 1-0 record with their win over Hilbert. Hilbert technically in last place at 0-1, and everybody else in the league with no record in the Liberty League playing their first conference games today. Overall, Ithaca is 2-1, not the best record overall by any of the Liberty League teams. Rochester is 3-0. RPI is also 2-1. Hobart, St. Lawrence, and Union are all 1-2 going into today, and Buffalo State and Hilbert are both 0-3 going into today's action. Today in the Liberty League, of course, Rochester is here at RPI. Buffalo State's at Hilbert, so one of those 2 teams is picking up a win today. That's also a noon start. Hobart's at Ithaca, a 1 p.m. start, and then later tonight, St. Lawrence is at Union for a 5 p.m. start. So that's your rundown of Liberty League football. We'll take a break and then come back with the second half of action here from the East Campus Stadium as it's Rochester visiting RPI. And you're hearing it all right here on 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
expecting him to get most of the plays here in the second half. Victor Moran, the senior, had started, but Bellinger quickly came in early on in the game. They also saw Genovese back there, quarterback as well, but now it looks like they're settling in with Bellinger at the helm.
Corfanta on the tackle there for RPI on first down. It'll be 2nd and 6 for Rochester. Ball's at their own 30-yard line. 3 receivers on the left, and Rue is going to go to the left as well. Straight ahead run here by Bellinger, and he's going to get stopped after a gain of 1. Right on the 31-yard line, he got stopped. So Rochester's looking down another 3rd down.
A host of guys there, among them Owen Boland, 94, and on the tackle.
Rochester 1 for 9 on 3rd down today. Now, RPI's 3 for 8 on 3rd downs, but they didn't get a lot of 3rd downs when they were scoring early in the first half.
A lot of big plays in that first quarter for the Engineers.
So 3rd down and 5. They'll officially say this is on the 31 yet. It's closer to the 31 than the 32. So 3rd and 5 for Rochester. 3 wide receivers. Bellinger looks left and almost intercepted. Almost. Krause came in. Is that Krause? Yeah. Krause got in front of that pass intended for Kane, and he almost picked it off. Had he grabbed that, if Kane didn't stop him, it would have been a touchdown.
And you know why that was almost an interception, Kurt, is because Bellinger, he's got a good arm, and they like him back there, but one problem he's running into is he's tended to lock in on one receiver, and RPI defenders are seeing that, and they're covering the defenders, or they're coming up with near interceptions. They can read his eyes, and they just crash in on the receiver.
So 4th down, the kick is away. Taken by Swanger near the 25-yard line. Escapes one man, 2nd man, 3rd man gets him. And he's going to be down near the 30. They'll have him down at the RPI 29-yard line. So 13:36 to go here in the 3rd quarter. 24-3, RPI on top.
Swanger had a good first half returning punts. He had 1 for 29 yards. Altogether, he had 3 returns for 47. And 15, 16 yards of return is pretty darn good when you're typically looking at, 5 to 7 maybe. So good first half also on the special teams for the Engineers.
RPI 1st and 10 at their own 29-yard line. They give this to White. White's got room, finds a hole on the right side. He's across the 35 to the 37.
Caden White had the bulk of the carries. No surprise there for the Engineers. Out of 19 attempts on the ground, he carried 10 times. And total of 75 yards there in the first half.
2nd and 2, RPI at their own 37. White in the backfield. DiMatteo fakes the handoff to him. He's going to pass over the middle. Incomplete. It was off the hands of Grant.
Dalton Grant ran that same pattern for a 53-yard touchdown in the first half, but that time, I don't know, it just caught him off guard. It hit him in the right hand. Ball was right on the money, but couldn't hold on to it.
That'll make it a 3rd down and 2 for RPI at their own 37. 4 wide out formation this time. Garung is in the backfield. DiMatteo takes the snap. Garung's going to go out. DiMatteo's looking downfield. He's got time, running out of time, throws, and it's, wow. Thomas had the best chance at that one on defense, making a jump for it, and it goes incomplete.
Well, not a good decision that time by DiMatteo, which has been rare today, but not that time because he threw straight into double coverage. And as you mentioned, 23, Judah Thomas, the defensive back, was actually the one who had the best chance of catching that ball.
Shiflett is back for Rochester to receive this punt. Burke awaiting the snap. RPI on 4th down, flag on the play. Who is this against? RPI. This will back RPI up 5. It was 4th and 2. If the flag was against Rochester, it would have given RPI a first down, but instead,
15,
RPI
5-yard penalty,
backed up 5.
Still 4th down.
Stay still, baby!
As you mentioned, just penalty-free first half. Really cleanly played football game by both squads. Especially that first quarter just zipped along in no time.
And Burke kicks it away. End over end kick. Shiflett comes in. RPI recovers on the muff punt, and they'll have it at the Rochester 28.
I believe that was Lance Hirsch, 36, on the recovery. Shiflett, as you said, it's an end-over-end punt, and it was sort of to the near sideline. He's kind of running to his right, trying to make the catch on the run, and he just didn't gather it in and hit off one of his arms.
It went off to his left.
Yeah. It went to his left, and right there was Hirsch to make the recovery. Big turnover. Engineers starting on the 28 of Rochester.
24-3, RPI leads. Give us to White on first down. Avoids one man. White gets across the 25. He's going to be down near the 24. They'll put him down at the 24-yard line, so we'll pick up a 4 for RPI. So the drive starting at the 28. This is technically RPI's 11th possession today.
And they started out touchdown, 14-0 in the first two possessions. Been in control all day.
Have their last score at 11:07 to go in the first half. Was the last time RPI scored. Gives to White again. Doesn't really find a lot of room trying to go up the middle. And he maybe got a yard. So RPI will be in the third down, but in a better position, third down at the 23 of Rochester. A third down in about 5.
Generally speaking, since those first two drives, the Rochester defense, especially the line, has done a better job, a more competitive job of up front of either clogging holes or forcing DiMatteo to hurry a little bit.
Third down and 5. DiMatteo under pressure, rolling out to his left, dishes it off short to White. White goes towards the sidelines. He's down near the 20. That won't be a first down, but I got to think RPI is going to go for it here. I think they're going to have him out at the 21-yard line, but I think the offense should stay out there.
DiMatteo made a good move getting away from the rush because right at the beginning of the play, A.J. Bixler, 91, broke through the line and was coming right at DiMatteo. He had to scramble to his left, able to make something out of that.
So RPI keeps the offense out there. 10:50 to go here in the third quarter. 24-3, RPI on top. Fourth down and 3 at the 21-yard line. Now RPI shifting. Garon goes out of the backfield. So this is a 5 wideout formation for DiMatteo. He has time. He's throwing end zone, and is it caught? No, incomplete. Garon got away from his defender, and I'd love to see the replay on this one because I thought he should have had that.
It looked like it hit him right in the hands. He made a run down the seam, made a little cut to the left, but then turned back to the right, which bought him some room from the defender. All I can think is that in turning to his left, he didn't maybe get his eye on the ball early enough because the ball was right there. It looked like it hit him in the hand or the arm, the left side, and just not quite able to squeeze it. Like I said, he cut left, but then reversed back to the other side to free himself from the defender. By the time he turned around, the ball was there. It's not quite enough time to gather it in for the touchdown.
So RPI turns it over on downs at the 21 of Rochester. Can't capitalize on the muffed punt. 10:32 to go here, third quarter. Rochester 1st and 10 at their own 21, trailing by 21 points. Pantonis, coming from the wide receiver, cuts behind the line of scrimmage, takes the handoff, and he runs out of bounds at the 27.
Sort of the second time they've run a rushing play for Papantonis. He comes into this game as their leading receiver. He's also their leading receiver today. He's got 4 catches for 63 yards. The longest going for 29.
So second down and 4 for Rochester at their own 27-yard line. And Bellinger rolls out to his right, throws, that's complete, and that'll be a first down to the 35-yard line to Talone. So he gets taken down by a bunch of engineers led by Matt Krause, but it'll be a first down for Rochester at the 35-yard line.
They haven't done a lot of rollout plays on the Rochester offense, but that time it certainly works. Gives Bellinger time to look and see an open receiver down the right sideline, and enough for a Yellow Jackets first down.
First and 10 for Rochester at their own 35. We have 9:20 to go here in quarter number 3. 24-3, RPI is on top. Dylan fake the handoff. Bellinger's looking along the sideline for Papantonis, overthrows him, it's incomplete.
On the coverage there for the Engineers, number 5, Cassius Johnson. He's a 5'10 sophomore out of Riverhead, New York, Long Island. And, you know, he's had his hands full. They've given him a lot of responsibility. Many times he's had Papantonis, who's a taller guy, trying to stay with him in coverage. And by and large, they have kept Papantonis bottled up this afternoon.
Second and 10 for Rochester at their own 35. And that is not pardon me, pass completion to the 41. Let me get this out right. Genovese was the quarterback now. Genovese is in there at quarterback, which is what I was trying to tell you. Yeah. And he completes the pass to Kane to the 41-yard line.
Jackson Kane, the tight end, just did a quick 5 up and turnaround. It's a nice little gain because it now makes it sort of a manageable third down. Third down, and let's call it 3 really. The scoreboard says 4, but more like 3. Got to get to the 45.
Bellinger back in there. So third down, and as Yancey said, it's really 3, not what the scoreboard says, 4. And Bellinger drops back to throw. He's going to go down. He looked up, tried to find somebody, knew he was under pressure, and then he goes down at the 34-yard line, and Rochester will be punting.
No time at all to pass. No time at all. The RPI rush was just all over him. Owen Bolin, among others. I don't know who will get credit for the sack there because, frankly, there's 3 or 4 guys piling on. Maybe we can see it here in the replay. Yeah, Bolin wasn't the first guy to get to him, but he'll probably get credit for the sack because Bellinger wriggled free but from the first wave, but Bolin was right there to bring him down.
Brainerd to kick, gets it away. Shorter kick, takes a bounce for Rochester, picked up at the 30, and that's it. That's where Swanger's going to end up being tackled. So 7:33 to go here in the third quarter. 24-3, RPI on top of Rochester. No scoring in this second half so far.
A good play by Swanger, but boy, a little dangerous because, as you said, that was an end-over-end kick that hit it like the 35 and kind of started to skitter Swanger's left. He could have let that go. Of course, it would have probably rolled another 15 yards. He took a little bit of a risk, and good for him. He handled it cleanly and gets the ball to the 30.
RPI changing up a quarterback as it's going to be passed down the field. That's going to go incomplete. Balzerini is in there for RPI at quarterback. Am I right on that?
Well, and I was looking down at the receiver, and he was just wide open. The throw was hurried because the intended receiver, Chris Ollie, was way behind the cornerbacks down there at about the 32. And the throw wasn't quite so hurried. Could have been 6 points right there by Balzerini.
So Balzerini drops back looking to throw. Now he's going to run with the ball, and the defensive line, for Rochester is going to grab him. And that was Victor Little on the tackle for Rochester. So RPI quickly into a 3rd and 11 situation. There was 8:56 left to go in the first half when Rochester kicked their field goal. Nobody has scored since, so it's been over a quarter of play with no points on the board.
It's not what we're used to, at least by the first quarter standards.
No. Balzerini throws. That is complete right at the 40-yard line. Where is the spot here?
That's going to be close. I think he's got it.
Ihui on the reception for RPI. And they're going to put the tip of the ball is on the 40, and the chains are moving. So that'll be a first down for RPI.
That was a nice play. Nice, best throw of the game so far for Balzerini. Just a quick, on the left side, Ihui was in the slot, ran about 10, quick hook to the outside left to make the catch.
24-3, RPI on top. Encarnacion takes the handoff, goes to the right side, keeps stringing it out, and he's going to be down near the 45.
And I believe that's the first carry of the ball game. for RJ Encarnacion. He's a senior wide receiver listed at 5'9", 164 out of the Bronx, New York.
Second down and 5 for RPI at their own, just short of their own 45. And Encarnacion takes the carry once again, and he's going to get tackled forward, and that's going to be a first down.
And what you're seeing right now is a lot of guys who not normally starters, backups getting some time. Balzerini at quarterback, Encarnacion getting a couple of handoffs. It's probably the right time to do that. You're up 24-3. It's middle of the third quarter. If Rochester gets the next score, maybe that changes a little bit of the complexion, but now's the time you want to give your starters a little bit of a rest and give some of these guys some action this afternoon.
So Balzerini drops back on 1st and 10 for RPI. He's going to run with it now, and Balzerini is out to the 42 on the Rochester side of the field.
Michael Balzerini is a sophomore, stands 6'2", 196, out of Edgewood, Washington.
He's quite a ways from home.
Yeah. I think his first action of the day here for the Engineers in the third quarter.
Second down and 3 for RPI at the 42 of Rochester. 4.5 to go here, third quarter. RPI up 24-3. Balzerini takes the snap. Scanning the field. Now he's going to go down, and that's off the intended receiver. I think everybody's looking for a flag, and there isn't going to be one. Ali was the intended receiver, and there's not going to be a flag here.
I think that's a good call. If you can see the replay on your TV or computer screen, there's a lot of contact, but that's one of those. And they were both pushing and shoving there. Who are you going to call that on? It's it reminds you of like an NBA game where there's two guys in the lane and they both got their arms on each other's shoulders trying to push the other one off. I mean, they're kind of equally guilty there.
Third down and 3 for RPI at the Rochester 42. Again, your running back, Garong is the running back, and Balzerini right now is the quarterback for RPI. So 3 quarterbacks for RPI, and RPI is taking a timeout before that play happens. So first timeout of RPI in the second half. RPI's had 3 people at quarterback, and Rochester's had 3 people at quarterback today. You don't see that very often.
It's the luxury of this 21-point lead for the Engineers. DiMatteo getting a rest, Caden White getting a rest. They want some Balzerini to get in there a little bit. If I'm reading the stat sheet right, his first action of the year.
Yes.
First time he's been able to get into a ball game. And, it's early in the season, first conference game. Who knows when you've got to have a backup ready. So it's a good opportunity here for him and others to get some time in the third quarter. Again, a reminder is third quarter, it's RPI 24, Rochester 3. It's 4:20 left in the third quarter. If you missed the first half, you had to be here right at the start. First drive, RPI, bam, touchdown in about 5 plays. They held, Rochester got the ball back. Again, another quick lightning strike touchdown drive. They were up 14-0 just minutes into this ball game. They've had it pretty well in hand ever since. Rochester had a couple of drives in the second quarter. One that got in the red zone. Could have scored a touchdown, had to settle for a field goal. And a second drive into RPI territory where they went for it on 4th down just past midfield and failed. And that's been their best 2 drives, really, of the afternoon for the Yellow Jackets.
So third down and 3 at the 42 of Rochester. RPI in possession with the 21-point lead, and RPI is going to get flagged right here as Ihui crossed.
Started too soon. He's down on the He's down on the left. He's the widest guy out by the numbers, right by the 0 in the 40 on the field. Just a mistiming or a misunderstanding. He took off 2 steps before anybody else did.
That makes it a 3rd and 8.
Might change the play call here. Balzerini looking to the sideline for instruction.
So 3rd and 8 now for RPI, not 3rd and 3 after the penalty. Encarnacion moves to the right side. RPI set. Balzerini is back to throw on third down. He's going to look for the near side, and is that complete? Yes, Hui has it along the sidelines. That's complete down near the 10. They'll put it at the 9-yard line. So RPI first and goal from the 9 after a big completion.
Boy, Hui with a good effort there. He's got the sideline on the defender, Brendan McDonald, and there wasn't much room between the defender and the ball, but the defender was not really looking back at the ball. He was looking at Hui, who he lost sight of the ball, and Hui just able to gather it in and hang on to it as he's crashing down at about the 11-yard line.
So Rochester taking a timeout. 3:46 to go here in the third quarter. 24-3 RPI on top. Out of town late in the second quarter. Ithaca has a 7-0 lead on Hobart. And in the third quarter, this just happened. Buffalo State has now taken a 14-8 lead on Hilbert. And I believe there's an extra point pending on that. Yes, there's an extra point pending in that game. So Buffalo State and Hilbert both no wins so far this year. Somebody's coming out of that game with a win.
So just to recap that last play, Kurt, Balzerini, 3rd and 8, goes down the left sideline for 38 yards to Hui. Needless to say, Balzerini's longest completion in an engineer uniform. Seen his first action this season. Right now he's 2 for 4 in passing with 49 yards. Hui with that catch now has 49 yards receiving on the afternoon for the Engineers. That's puts him second, just behind Grant, who has 1 catch for 53 yards and a touchdown.
Timeout is over with. Here we are. First and goal at the 9 for RPI. Up 21 points. The 3:46 to go third quarter. Handoff goes to Encarnacion. Weaves his way through as he's going left and up and left and up, and he's down at the 5.
One thing that all of the featured running backs for RPI have shown, whether it's Caden White or Garung or right now Encarnacion, it's the ability to read the line and where the holes are breaking and where it's clogged, and to shift on the run left or right and find a little gap and turn what might be 0 gain or 1 yard gain into something, 3, 4, 5, 6 yards.
RPI now second and goal at the 5. We got 3 wideouts. Young is off the line on the right. Encarnacion is the running back. Balzerini looking downfield. I think this was a designed run, and he just can't get away from one defender. Diggins saved a touchdown there. He just would not let Balzerini get away.
It's the linebacker, Jack Diggins, catching it from behind. As you said, that looked like a designed quarterback run, just a delayed and a takeoff to the left side. He had the end zone in his sights, but Diggins caught him from behind.
Third down and goal from the 3 now for RPI.
A score here, and it's will pretty much end all doubt. Not that it's not well in hand already.
Balzerini fakes the pitch, and does he make it to the goal line? No, he was just stopped short. I think that was Little who was the one who ultimately stopped him from getting across the goal line, and it'll be 4th and goal inside the 1.
A big play by Little. The guy stands 6'3", 280. He clogs up a lot of room there for the Engineers, or rather for the Yellow Jackets, and he was able to grab Balzerini and just kind of rustle him down to the ground at the 1. So they're going to go for it, 4th and 1 at the 1.
4th and goal at the 1 for RPI. Balzerini takes the snap and pitches to Encarnacion. Encarnacion is stopped short. He is stopped short of the goal line. RPI turns it over on downs inside the 1.
That was kind of a wild play. Balzerini took off to his left to try to run it, but all of a sudden it's completely clogged up. So just before getting tackled, he kind of flips the balls, kind of a pass, kind of a flip to the left side to Encarnacion, who made, it's probably called a handoff as a pitch backwards, but made the grab at the 4. Had a moment where it looked like he might be able to get to the end zone, but credit the Rochester defense, looking for some of the numbers there, especially number 52, Claudio Pinto, really closed the gap quickly and brought Encarnacion down at the 1, which is where Rochester will take over with 1:45 to go in the quarter.
So Rochester starting back in their own end zone. Rue takes the handoff, and that was from Bellinger, who's still in there at QB. And Rue was able to get out to about the 3 to get a little bit of room here for Rochester to work with.
Will they try to pass from the end zone? Their passing game has gotten better since the first quarter, no doubt. But where they run into trouble, Rochester does, is, first of all, the RPI rush has been really good most of the day and not giving their quarterbacks much time. Second of all, Bellinger is sometimes focused in on too much on one receiver, allowing RPI to react.
Second down, the handoff to Rue once again. He goes left, and he's going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage.
And that's just playing it really conservative there. That's no gain, and they're still bottled up at barely the 3 yard. He barely got back to the 3.
So Rochester now with a third and 8 at the 3. Coming down to the end of the third quarter here in Troy, RPI with the 24-3 lead. Again, Bellinger is in the end zone as he takes the snap. He's going to roll to his right. He's under pressure, gets away from it, throws, and that is caught and to the 10-yard line, and that's it. Only made it out to the 10-yard line on that reception. That was Talone on the reception. So that's a 4th and 1 at the 10. It's probably less than 1.
And he made the catch like right at about the, 9.5. And I thought he was going to get to the 11, which is what he needed for the first down. But credit, just a fast reacting RPI defense. 3 guys closed in there. Tristan Cafanta, 24, was there. Joe DiCario, the linebacker, number 40, was also there. When the catch was made, Kurt, it looked like for sure, okay, he's just going to fight forward for another yard and they'll get the first down. But he got nothing after the catch. And so it'll be 4th down for the Yellow Jackets from their own 10 as the two teams take a slow walk to the right side of the field to start the 4th quarter.
Third quarter's over with, 24-3 RPI on top. So Rochester will be heading towards the gymnasium here at the East Campus Stadium to start out this 4th quarter. RPI will be heading towards the gymnasium to start out this 4th quarter as Rochester's got this 4th and 1 that they have to deal with. A reminder, you are listening to WRPI Troy with Engineer Football from the East Campus Stadium. Kurt Stud and Yancey Roy on the call for you here today as it's the Liberty League opener for both of these teams.
Take a quick look at some stats at the end of 3 quarters. The numbers have really cooled off after that first quarter. First downs, Rochester 6, RPI 12. Rushing yards, Rochester 65, RPI 154. Passing yards, 109 for the Yellow Jackets, 190 for the Engineers. The Engineers, DiMatteo started out red hot, 8 out of 10 passing. Since then, he and the other quarterbacks have been just a combined 4 out of 14. So, of course, you can't get much better than that first 2 possessions for the Engineers. You can't possibly, right? 2 touchdowns. But they cooled off, and the Rochester defense has played a lot better as well. As third quarter turned into just sort of a back and forth middle of the field slog.
It was
no scoring.
It was not a particularly interesting third quarter. So Rochester to punt on 4th down. Brainerd is in the end zone. He's about 5 yards deep in the end zone when he's going to get this snap. Kicks it away, high kick. Swanger, I think, had trouble seeing this, and RPI is not going to go and get towards the ball. They are going to run away, as Monty Python would say. The sun is actually starting to come out here at the field, and that's what Swanger's problem was.
Yeah,
he was looking up into the sun.
You're right, because he was positioned somewhere at about the 50, but as soon as the ball came off Brainerd's foot, you could tell he didn't see it well because, look, he made a smart play in that he backed up about 10 yards, just trying to get an eye on the ball, apparently. And then at that point, you might as well just let it bounce rather than risk some sort of turnover.
Well, this is one of those, you've got a 3-score lead, get away from the ball. And
don't make a big mistake. And
yeah.
You can see that, the way the Engineers are attacking, they're trying to get some playing time for Balzerini and others, but just try to be mistake-free since you've got such a lead here in this ball game.
1st and 10, RPI at the 39-yard line. On the ground for White, and he's going to find his way to the 46 for a gain of 7. As we're in the 4th quarter, RPI up 24-3.
And DiMatteo's back in at quarterback now to start the 4th quarter after they had let Balzerini take over most of that third, or the second half of the third.
RPI put 3 wideouts on the left side, tight ends on the right. That's Young. White in the backfield.
They haven't gone back, Kurt, to what was working well in that first quarter, which were the quick slant passes to the receivers like Grant and Young and Nicholson.
DiMatteo gives to White. White, stutter steps, got some room, got a first down from the 50 to the Rochester 47, and that will move the chains for RPI.
And just grinding some clock. You're up 3 touchdowns. You got a pretty good offensive line, a pretty good running back. So just trying to be steady on the ground and run some clock here.
1st and 10, RPI at the 47. It's quite a crowd in the VIP area, two floors below us here today. Sometimes that's empty, but quite a crowd in here today. On first down, under pressure, DiMattio's got a roll to his right, throw, and intercepted. Intercepted by Diggins.
First big play all day from the Rochester defense.
He ran out of bounds immediately, so that's the end of the play, but Rochester gets the INT, and you may have heard the coaches to our right celebrating that.
Yeah, a nice play also because it was intended for Paisley, who was open for a while, but a little underthrown, tipped. He tipped it to himself and made the catch and hauled it in and went out of bounds at the 31.
Rochester down by 3 touchdowns. They've got a 21-point deficit. Can they do something here? They've only gotten to the red zone once, and that's when they got their field goal. And now they've switched up the quarterbacks again. Genovese is in there. He takes it himself, and he's a little bit short of the 35-yard line on first down.
Yeah, that was Jack Diggins on the interception. Just a really nice play. He's a linebacker, stands 6'2". He's a junior out of Harrington Park, New Jersey. Yeah, Genovese. 3 quarterbacks in there for
both teams.
Both teams, yeah, and especially for the Yellow Jackets. The 2, Moran hasn't been in much since the first quarter.
Genovese is going to take the snap, runs himself to the right side, and he's going to get forced down a little bit short of the 40-yard line. It's going to set up about 3rd and 1.5.
And both of the 2 quarterbacks seeing time in the second half here for Rochester. We should mention freshmen. First year out there in college football, trying to navigate and get their team back into this ball game from a deep deficit. It seems to me the quick impression here is that Genovese is probably going to be more of a runner than Bellinger. They seem comfortable with him running quarterback sprints out to the right or left. See what they do here on 3rd.
3rd down, Genovese takes it again, and I think he got caught short. Yeah, he got caught at the 40-yard line. He had to get to the 41. He didn't make it.
Yeah, a pile of engineers just read that play well and just collapsed in there for the tackle. Looking for some numbers there. Among them, Bolin was there for the engineers. Also Pockness as well. So 4th down and less than 1, and hey, you're down 21 points and it's the 4th quarter. Why not? So Rochester is going to go for it or try to try RPI on the sides.
They may try to draw RPI. Nope, they're going to snap the ball. And no! The running back took the ball, and then it looked like he tripped. He tripped. Adelman tripped. Did he trip over Genovese or just himself?
He had a gap and should have had the first down, but there was a trip there. We're looking on the replay. No, it's just himself. He wide open. He's flipped on the turf and hit the ground at the 40. No one touched him. He just lost his footing, maybe in trying to accelerate because he saw the hole. He could have easily got past the 41, but Adelman trips and falls, lands in between the 39 and the 40, and the ball is turned over to RPI with 11:23 to play in the ballgame.
RPI up by 21. They'll have it at the Rochester 40. So the interception does no harm. RPI actually picks up a few yards on the exchange of possessions there. And first down, Garang takes the carry. He's going to go right, and he finds his way down to the 31-yard line. So the clock's going to continue to run here in Troy. RPI up 24-3. And RPI looking for another score here. Nobody has scored since 8:56 was remaining in the second quarter.
Gehring now up to 9 carries for 30 yards on the afternoon, getting a lot of action here in the second half.
Second down and short, and DiMatteo is going to get sacked. He's going to lose a whole bunch of yards as Bixler was the main man coming in there for Rochester to take him down.
Yeah, Daniel Santos, 18 as well. 2 men collapsing on DiMatteo. And now way back, 3rd down and 9 for the Engineers. Again, they've been content to play it conservatively here in the second half with this big lead. So what do they do on 3rd and long? We'll see.
3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Encarnacion is the running back now for RPI. This has been a game full of substitutions, and the dog is still here. The dog from last week. It sounds like the same dog. RPI 3rd and 9. DiMatteo, low snap, bounced along the ground. DiMatteo had to pick it up. Now he's going to throw it downfield, and can he get through it? Nope. Underthrown on this one, looking for White near the 5-yard line. Underthrown on 3rd down. It'll be 4th down for RPI.
Well, as you said, the ball was not snapped in the air. It was kind of skittled on the ground, 3 or 4 hops to DiMatteo. By the time he picks it up, he's got white jerseys all in his face, and it's just like a let me throw this ball and get out of here kind of throw to kind of no man's land down at about the 10 or 15-yard line. So 4th down for the Engineers, 9:53 to go in the ball game.
So Burke is back near his own 47. He gets the snap. And Rochester's Shiflett doesn't want anything to do with this, and they'll be down by RPI inside the 1. Nice coverage by RPI, and Rochester is deep in their own territory.
I believe that's Gray Haight. No, I'm sorry, 36. I'm sorry, that's number 36, Lance Hirsch, down on the punt coverage. As you said, Shiflett got away from the ball altogether, so Lance was down there and just caught it in the air, fielded it right at the 2-yard line. Nice play by him, and Yellow Jackets now playing in the shadow of the RPI building on our right as they're going from right to left here in this 4th quarter. 9:45 to go in the ball game, 24-3 RPI.
2-yard line. Rochester started out the 1-2 drives ago. Then they got the interception, and now they're on 2 to start a drive.
They played it really conservatively last time from here.
They'll go on the ground, and this will get them maybe a couple of yards. They're going to get out to about the 3-yard line, so they'll get 1 yard out of this. That was Rue on the carry for Rochester. So clock is continuing to run. Nobody has scored. We're going to be coming up pretty soon on it in 30 minutes of game time. And in 20 seconds, it'll be 30 minutes of game time since anybody's gotten a score. What looked like was going to be a high-scoring game at one point has kind of slowed down. 2nd down. This is going to be the wide receiver, Papantonis, coming across, and we got a flag on the play. He came across to take the handoff. We've seen that play a couple of times. And then a flag comes out at the end of the play.
Bodies piled up there at about the 8-9 yard line. I didn't see any obvious call, but like you said, it came out pretty much as the play ended. After the play, it looks like a face mask.
No, I think it's a holding. I think it's a holding call. So the officials are squaring this away because they're talking to Coach Izernia about what do you want to do here. Because you only get half the distance.
Offense number 83. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat 2nd down.
Trying to see if we can see it on the replay because
the hold was at the 8.
Yeah, the interesting thing about it, Kurt, is like it came out like after Papantonis was down or when he was coming down. You'll see a flag come out for holding in a mid-play. I was just surprised that was the call.
So half the distance. The penalty was at the 8, goes back to the 4. It'll be 2nd down again and 8 in this circumstance. Throw, that is incomplete. Incomplete. RPI's trying to claim. They're trying to claim that they caught that in the air. I I'm well away from this, and it looked to me like it hit the ground. And that's what the officials are going to say. RPI is not making much of an argument here, but the intended receiver had to go off him, and then it bobbled around.
And the reason the receiver wasn't able to hold on to it is number 10, John Borkowski of the Engineers, closed really quickly, got in a good solid hit before the reception could be made, causing the handle to be lost and the ball to be dropped to the ground.
So it'll be 3rd down and 8 for Rochester, deep in their own territory. Bellinger is going to roll out to his right, throw, and that's incomplete. Borkowski on the breakup over there.
And again, you know, Borkowski's reading the quarterback there, which is what the Engineers defensive backs have been able to do. Bellinger, a freshman, who has at times shown, you know, some promise, but sometimes he locks in on a receiver, and that's what he did that time. He looked to the right. He was looking at one receiver all the way. Borkowski reads it. He's able to break up the pass. Might even have had a chance for an interception, but it's a pass breakup, and Rochester will be forced to punt again from deep in its own territory.
Brainerd at the back of his own end zone gets the snap, kicks it away. Swanger catches it. Fair catch right around the 42 on Rochester's side of the field. We have 8:35 left to go in today's game. 24-3. RPI is on top. This is RPI's 15th possession of the game. I'm running out of room on my possession chart.
Right. I mean, it's a lot of turnaround here in the second half. Excuse me, in terms of short drives going nowhere. 3 plays, 3 plays, 4 plays, 3 plays, 4 plays.
Pass over the middle. DiMattio's pass is complete down to about the 37 to Young as RPI started out 1st and 10 at the 42 of Rochester.
Yeah, just to show you, since the last 3 Rochester possessions have gone 3, 4, and 4 plays, and the Engineers' last 2 possessions, 3 plays and 3 plays.
So a 2nd and 5 for RPI at the Rochester 37. RPI with a 21-point lead. And fake the handoff throw over the middle. That's complete, and that's going to be 1st down near the 15-yard line to Ihui.
Nice play-action fake there by DiMattio in the line that got Rochester thinking it was a run play, and instead Ihui's wide open in the middle of the field. Big gain for the Engineers.
So Rochester's going to take a timeout. We have 7:37 to go in this 4th quarter. 24-3, RPI on top. RPI in the red zone trying to score. Again, it's been over 30 minutes play time since somebody has scored.
That reception for Ihui is now going to make him the leading receiver for the Engineers with 70 yards on the afternoon. He's got 3 receptions, 23-yard average, 38 yards was his longest play.
At the half, Hobart and Ithaca tied at 7. And starting the 4th quarter, Buffalo State has a 15-8 lead on Hilbert. Union and St. Lawrence later tonight. That's a 5 o'clock start. In Schenectady. And if anybody's really curious, St. Anselm has a 16-6 lead on Pace.
And when Kurt says, is anybody interested in the Pace score, that generally means him.
Yes. Same as when I give CFL scores. It's probably just me.
Right. The Argonauts are having a tough season.
They went Grey Cup last year, and it looks like they're not going to make the playoffs this year. It's no need for me to be looking for Grey Cup tickets. 1st and 10 RPI at the 16 of Rochester as we're underway once more in this 4th quarter. Handoff. This is just a pile of players. This is old-style football. Get into a pile and see if you can move it. Almost rugby style, but it's going to be a stop at the 15, a gain of 1 for RPI.
Number 52 for the defense must come off.
So that's White in running back right now for RPI. Looks like we have an injured Rochester player, and now we're going to get a timeout on the field for that injury. So he will be looked at. I think that is Reese Lewis. He'll get a little bit of help to get off the field. So we'll be back to play shortly here at the East Campus Stadium.
We'll take a look at some of your team leaders right now for the Engineers. In tackles, they're led by Mount Krause with 9, also Aiden Beckenhuis, or rather with 6, I'm sorry. They just flipped the update right now. 6 each for Krause and Beckenhuis. In terms of receptions and receiving yards, the Engineers are led by Ihui with 70, Dalton Grant with 53.
Second down and 9 for RPI at the 15-yard line. They give us to White. White's trying to string this out to the right. He gets away from a whole bunch of guys. Now he's going to go out of bounds at the 10. That was looking like a loss of yards, and instead he's got 5 down to the 10-yard line. I know you want the things updated as soon as possible. We're both old enough to remember when this was done on typewriter.
Yeah. I get it.
You got every quarter, you got something, a piece of paper handed to you with the stats, typewritten. That's what it used to be, or just handwritten sometimes. That's the way it was. Not seconds later. Third down throw, that is complete to the 5-yard line and almost in. Ihui almost escaped the last guy. He's down around the 1, in between the 1 and the 2. It'll be first and goal, RPI.
He's having quite the second half, Ihui. He had that catch in the third quarter right along the sideline, a diving catch. A nice little stutter step move there on the left sideline that time to get away from a defender and get down to the 1.
First and goal for RPI, officially from the 2-yard line. On the ground, and that is in. Yes, touchdown. RPI has a 30-3 lead. White on the TD.
Who else, right? Who else but Caden White? Again, he's done a good job every time that it seems like the line is clogged and he has to find a seam. Does he go between the guard and the center, the guard and the tackle? Does he bounce it outside? He seems to make the right call each time in those situations, and he kind of sneaks through the line and gets in for the touchdown, and the Engineers now up 30-3 pending this kick.
Merrick out to try the extra point. Snap, ball's down, kick is up, and it is good. So after no scoring in the third quarter, RPI puts up a TD plus an extra point. In the fourth quarter, they've got a 31-3 lead.
A bit of an answer there for the RPI offense after what we both talked about was a bit of a sluggish third quarter, and they were letting some subs in there to play and not getting sustained drives. They opened the fourth quarter, and they put DiMatteo back in at quarterback. They put Caden White back in at running back, and Engineers march right down for a touchdown here with 5:49 to go in the ballgame, 31-3. I think you'll be seeing a lot of backup players getting some time from here on out. Some stats to throw out at you now. Caden White now over the 100-yard mark. He's got 18 carries for 110 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns. His longest gain was a 37-yard run, which was for a touchdown, which at the time put the Engineers up 24-0. Your top receiver on the afternoon is Ihui. He's got 4 catches for 80 yards. His longest was 38. DiMatteo in passing is 13 out of 23. 1 interception, but 2 touchdowns, a total of 177 yards for the starting quarterback for the Engineers.
And the kick is away from Gray. This is taken near the 12-yard line to the 15, to the 20, and okay, some bad luck there because Shiflett on the return kind of got tackled by his own guy.
Sums up a lot for Rochester's offensive output today.
Yeah, some rough luck on that kickoff return. Last week we had a pass play with RPI where the defenders were basically RPI's offensive linemen. RPI was passing to themselves, and the receiver had to avoid his own lineman to get to the ball.
Yeah, it's not to be harsh, but to sum up Rochester's offense today, yeah, a guy getting tackled by his own teammate at the 25-yard line. That's kind of a fitting play.
So we're under 6 minutes to play here, and Bellinger is going to get sacked back at the 22-yard line. So it's been Bellinger and Genovese at times in this second half. We have not seen Victor Moran much since early in the game.
I think that was 88 Nick Guerrier. Yes, that's 88 who made the tackle for loss for the Engineers.
Second down, throw downfield, and that's through the hands of Papantonis. Incomplete. I think he should have had that.
Well, I also wonder if 27, Jonathan Walker, defensive back, might have gotten a fingertip on that as well, which, even if he didn't, maybe that messed up Papantonis' vision of that pass, which was down around the 45. Let's see. I think he did.
Yeah, it looks like he did.
It looks like Walker did get a hand on it, which knocked it away from Papantonis. So good deflection. Good deflection by the RPI defensive back.
Rochester quickly into a 3rd and 13 situation. They are 1 for 14 on 3rd down. Bellinger drops back. He's throwing Papantonis. Does he have it? Yes, he does. He gets tackled immediately, but Papantonis is down near the RPI 40, and that'll be a first down.
Well, you know, let's give a lot of credit to Papantonis there, because that ball was just kind of heaved up in the air by Bellinger. Papantonis was pretty well covered, but able to fight off the defender on his inside shoulder and hang on to the ball as he's being tackled and dragged down. It wasn't an especially sharp throw. It was just more attributable to a pretty terrific receiver fighting through contact and bringing the ball in for the reception.
31-3, RPI leads as Rochester has it 1st and 10 at the RPI 41. Bellinger pass, that is completed on the near side to Tantello, but really no gain. They're going to have him stopped at the 41, so with no gain there.
Yeah, because there were about 65 red jerseys there tackling him. Well, okay, really only 3, but it kind of seemed like it, didn't it? I mean, Luke Connolly, the defensive back there, Cassius Johnson was also there. No room at all for Tantello.
We are under 4 minutes to play here in Troy. 31-3, RPI leading. As nobody's in a big rush at this point. Rochester not in a big rush to run some plays.
Trying to just get maybe a touchdown to just get some pride here.
Bellinger pump fake. Now the throw is over the hands of Papantonis, and it goes incomplete.
My audible sort of groan there was like Papantonis made a terrific deke move on the left sideline and had beaten his man badly, and that should have been a touchdown, but Bellinger just airmailed the threw it like 5 yards over Papantonis' head. That coulda, woulda, shoulda been Rochester's first touchdown of the day.
That puts Rochester at 3rd down and 10. They're now 2 of 15 on 3rd down. They'll hand it off. Adelman straight ahead, but he's not going to get anywhere close to the first down as he's going to get stopped at the 39. Clock will continue to run down to 3:20 to go in today's game.
Obviously going for it on 4th down here in the 4th quarter. Bellinger now 10 of 23 on the afternoon, 129 yards. Papantonis, their leading receiver, 5 catches for 100 yards. He's had a really good second half, and it's been a tough battle for their offense. Rue is their leading rusher by far, 10 carries, 49 yards.
So 4th down for Rochester, under 10 on the play clock. They're still getting set here, under 2:50 to go in the game. 4th down and 8. And Bellinger's looking to throw, looking sidelines, and overthrows. Papantonis will call him the intended receiver. That's an overthrow, and that's a turnover on downs.
Yeah.
And RPI gets the ball with 2:42 to go.
I overthrew him by about 2 miles. I mean, Papantonis did a little 10 or 15 out and then cut to the sideline. He was standing at, what, the 26? The ball lands at the 10. I mean, there was some pressure, and I think that's the reason why Bellinger just felt he had to unload it, but he just threw it way over everybody.
RPI with their 16th possession today, starting out at their own 39. Got a 28-point lead with 2:42 to go. And RPI, that's a handoff. Garbolino is in there, and this is going to be Encarnacion getting across the 50-yard line on the right side, and he's down to about the 45. So RPI's got a first down.
believe that might have been Gurung, 21.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yes. Thank you for the correction.
He's back in, getting a little bit of work here in the fourth quarter.
1st and 10 RPI at the Rochester 45-yard line. Gurung is going to take the handoff again. He's going to go right, and he's going to get tackled at the Rochester 41. Coming up on 2 minutes to go in today's game. All but 7 points. There have been 34 points scored in this game, only 7 in the second half.
Timeout.
Garbolino and their quarterback getting some time. It's not the first time he's in today, but he's not thrown a pass attempt yet this afternoon. So
he was in the WPI game and he didn't throw, or he didn't get credited with a pass. I don't know if there were any that were thrown that got pulled back on a penalty or something.
Well, I'm just saying it's 2 minutes to go. I'm wondering if they decide to go ahead and run a pass play for the young guy to see get a chance under fire in a relatively safe position. You're up 31-3 with 2 minutes to go.
Ithaca's taking a 13-7 lead on Hobart in the third quarter, pending the extra point, I believe.
Well, and let's talk about Hobart. That's RPI's next opponent next week in Geneva. That's always a tough place to play for anybody. Hobart is the preseason favorite, defending conference champion. Huge game next Saturday, 1 o'clock in Geneva, New York, as RPI goes to Hobart.
It's going to be huger. Is that a word?
It is now.
Huger. If Hobart were to lose today, going into 1-3 into that game and taking a loss to Ithaca in the league, that would be like almost a must-win for Hobart at this point. Pass completion for RPI along the near side. That's Swanger. He's out around the 40. That was a 2nd down and 6 play.
And what did we see? Garbolino's first pass, as we mentioned.
You're right. Yes.
He's gotten in action here and there in a couple of games. He hadn't been able to throw a pass yet. That was a really safe, just quick out there to Swanger for a short pickup. But at least you get your feet wet.
Play went out of bounds, so clock stopped with 1:55 to go in today's game. Three wide out formation. Garbolino pass, that's off the hands of the receiver, Grant, at the 25-yard line.
He had him, but he was a little behind Grant. He made the correct read, the fake handoff. He saw Grant coming on the slant from the right side, but he just threw it a little behind him. Grant had to reach to his back shoulder, to his left side, stop his momentum, and reach back to the left. It just went through his hands, incomplete. 4th down, again, we're at 1:51. It's a game that's out of hand. Why not go for it? They're going to give their young subs here a chance to make a play in the fourth quarter.
So it's 4th and 5, RPI at the Rochester 40. Garbolino with the snap out of the shotgun. He's going to throw to the sideline. That's complete for a 1st down, and that's pretty much going to seal it. Grant on the reception at the 30-yard line.
And a good read again by Garbolino, just like the last play. This time the throw is right on target, right on the near sideline, and good for a 1st down at the 30.
So RPI bringing it into the victory formation as the clock is running. Minute and a half to go. So a couple of times they hit the knee. Actually, one more time after this. Garbolino takes the snap, takes the knee, and we're down to 1:10 left to go in this game. They'll have to do this one more time. And then it'll be an RPI victory here at the East Campus Stadium, a game in which RPI never trailed. Scored on the first possession of the game.
First 2 possessions.
First 2, but the game-winning points were the first possession.
Sure, of course. Yeah. It was like lightning quick, that first 2 possessions. All of a sudden, the first quarter's not half over, and the Engineers are up 14-0.
RPI takes another knee, and that's it. They don't have to do it again. It's just a question of the clock running down from 30 seconds to 0. The teams will start with the handshake line, but it's going to be official soon. RPI with a 31-3 victory here in Troy.
Well, what a big day for the Engineers. Just total domination from the first drive on. As you mentioned, Kurt, they scored on the first possession, scored on the second possession. They had to punt and then got a field goal quickly at 17-0. Then the defense was just all over Rochester. Didn't allow them anything. Didn't allow a first down in the first quarter. And pretty soon it was 24-0, 24-3 at the half. Second half was what you might expect, a lot of subs getting time for either side, freshmen getting into play for the Yellow Jackets and the Engineers. Big win for RPI. Builds off their upset win over Brockport last week. Gets them off to a great start in the conference. They're 1-0. It's going to be a tough conference schedule. And especially because next week they are not only on the road, they're going to be on the road against the preseason conference favorite, the Hobart Statesmen, in Geneva next week. But you couldn't have a better preparation game for the Engineers than what they had today. A 31-3 victory over Rochester, in which they won all the facets of the game: offense, defense, special teams.
Yeah, it's tough. You look at the stats right now, and it's, total yards 422 for RPI, 225 for Rochester. You had a lot of substitutions in this game, especially for RPI, swapping people out in that third quarter. What the numbers would have been if they had a smaller roster like Rochester, we don't know. Rochester had the travel roster, RPI's got the home roster, so you've got a whole bunch of extra guys on the side. You don't know what the numbers are going to be. They would probably not have been better for Rochester if that had happened. Exactly where RPI would have played out, you don't know. I mean, that's what they go through the tape for. They go through the tape and look at the plays and see what was going on. It's not necessarily just what the numbers are. But once you get that 24-0 lead, you're making different decisions out there with what you're doing. And as long as you hold your lead, everything's fine. And that's what RPI did. They gave up one field goal in the second quarter. That was it for Rochester. Rochester had trouble getting into the red zone. They just weren't getting there. I mean, just flat out, we're not getting there. Rochester was 2 for 16 on third down, 0 for 3 on fourth down.
There was 2 points of the game where Rochester might have had a glimmer of hope, right? One of them, they got into the red zone in that second quarter, their best drive. They had a third down at, the 13. Papantonis, their best receiver, got open on the right side, but Vic Marone, the quarterback, didn't have time to really get the ball off because of the RPI rush, and he short-armed the ball, and it bounced into Papantonis. That should have been a first and goal. Instead, they have to kick a field goal. A little while later, they get the ball across the RPI side of the field. They have a fourth down at, I want to say, the 47. Again, under pressure, a bad pass by a quarterback. And those were the 2 moments. Those were the 2 plays that, if Rochester gets it to go their way, maybe we're talking a more competitive game. But the RPI defense, especially the rush, was all over the quarterback in both of those instances.
Okay, so I'm going to run down the scoring today's game. Yancey has to pick his RPI offensive and defensive engineers of the game, and then we'll be calling it a day here from the East Campus Stadium. So 12:38 to go in the first quarter. That was RPI's first possession of the game. Grant with a 53-yard touchdown reception from DiMatteo. Merrick with the kick made it 7-0 RPI. That would be the game-winning score, as it turns out. 8:04 to go in the first quarter. That was Young with a 5-yard pass from DiMatteo. Merrick's kick made it 14-0 RPI, and then closing out the first quarter scoring with 13 seconds left, Merrick with a 19-yard field goal. So RPI, after the first quarter, was up 17-0. They extended their lead in the second quarter, 11:07 to go in the second quarter. White with a 37-yard run. Merrick's kick made it 24-0 RPI. Rochester would get their only points of the game with 8:56 to go in the first half. A 30-yard field goal by Brainerd made it 24-3 RPI. That was a score after halftime. Third quarter, no scoring. So they actually went over 30 minutes of play without anybody scoring in this game. And then the last score of the game with 5:49 left to go, White with a 2-yard run. Merrick's kick made it 31-3 RPI. That would be the final here in Troy. RPI 31, Rochester 3. Rochester, their first loss of the season. They were the last undefeated team in the Liberty League. They have now taken a loss. They're 3-1 overall, 0-1 in the conference. RPI improves to 3-1 overall. They are 1-0 in the conference. For Rochester, they are going to be against Ithaca at home next Saturday. That's a noon start, and for RPI, they've got a 1 p.m. start at Hobart next Saturday. So RPI on the road, and Rochester returns to go home. Engineers of the game.
Well, lots of stars on either side of the ball. We'll start with offense. You know, Anthony DiMatteo had a really terrific first half, threw a couple of touchdown passes. But I think we're going to go for the offensive star of the game was Caden White. The running back carried 18 times for 110 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, including a 37-yard run. And just his ability to find cracks and get gains through the line was huge to keep drives going for the Engineers. So Caden White, your offensive player of the game. Defense, again, just so many choices. There's so many guys over the field with lots of tackles. Lafferty and Krause led them in tackles, along with Corfunta with 6. Becken, who's had 5. Bolin had 5. We're going to go with Matt Krause, number 14. He's a junior defensive back, 6 foot out of Hopewell Junction. He had the most solo tackles this afternoon, 5, and the most total tackles tied with others with 6. So Matt Krause, your defensive star of the game.
Okay, so that's going to do it for us here from the East Campus Stadium. I'd like to thank Hader back at the station.